Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Law-splaining the Interwebs. I am your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. And how's it going today? I do apologize for being late. I was peacefully unconscious. It was magnificent. It was magnificent. But I didn't intend to be asleep. I was just, just laying there. And I woke up. I'm like, oh, my show starts in 2 minutes. Obviously, this was 5 minutes ago. And Lady Ragged's like, oh, yeah, I had no idea what time it was. So that was great. That was great. Oh, my gosh. Guys, it has been some days. It has been some days. Oh, jeez. I'm attempting to wake up still. There we go. Oh, excuse me. You were looking at a home for sale in Spicer the other day, 7,000 square feet and deaf haunted. Where's that? Oh, man. Okay. So tonight, we have a couple things to do. We have a Legal Eagle video to watch. We will watch Devin. We will see what he is up to in his Legal Eagle quest for being an eagle of legals. And then, after that, we will watch or read Melinda Scott's responses to Dear Feeder. And she has several of them. They're all over the place. And I am told by her that it would be very, very hateful and biased of me not to show her side of the story. So we're going to definitely check that out as well. Oh my goodness. And then we will wrap up for the night. That will be that. So should be a fun show. It's back to a little bit of normality. I know the channel has been a little bit different as of late. I have of course, we have the live streams going, although I have not done one on this channel in several days for a couple reasons. But there has been lots and lots of little short content on the channel. And I hope, of course, that people find that short content interesting and engaging or entertaining or whatever it is for them. It is a great way to grow the channel, something that live streams just do not do. YouTube hates them. YouTube hates live streams as for things like growth. It doesn't do it, which is why you often see creators splitting their live streams off into a second channel or something like that. And then they use the growth of one channel to feed the live stream audience in the other, whatever that may be. That's why they are very, very unfavorable for YouTube. It's just not something that YouTube itself likes. I don't understand it. I kind of prefer longer form content, and I also prefer the roughness of live streams, the ability to kind of joke and move through things, but that's how it goes. So anyway, there will be more and more of the short content as well. I do intend, at least for the time being, to keep the live stream content here on this channel primarily. if that changes, I will announce it in many, many ways. And frankly, it may change at some point, and live streams may move entirely to the Ricada Media channel or to a subsequent Ricada Law Live channel or something like that. In the event that it does do that, I will make sure to announce it. But I have no intention of stopping the live stream shows. I enjoy them quite a bit. But that is where we are with that stuff. I think that is all I had to say about that topic. Oh my gosh, guys, it's been a while. It's like I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. It's like I don't even know. I do have to thank someone. I do have to thank someone. I received a gift in the mail. And this is from Rick Ricada. Rick Ricada. It says, "Thanks for not killing yourself." So, you're welcome, Rick Ricada. Thank you for the beautiful note. With that was lovely. And speaking of killing ourselves, I guess we'll have to talk a little bit about Apollo Legend in just a minute. But that is that. He sent me, though, this. This is an 18-year whistle pig. I will open it here. This is, here it is. Here it is. I think this is in honor of its lost brother, the boss hog. There's that. And this comes with this one comes with a bespoke glass stopper as well. Hand pressed in Vermont. It's got the 18 on top. You can kind of see it's hard with the crystal pick up on a camera, but yeah, it's got a full-on stopper with it and everything. So very, very cool. I will take the first sip of that here in just a moment, because I'm quite excited to give it a try. I've never seen a bottle of 18-year Whistle Pig. I've only ever seen the Boss Hogs, and I think I've seen a 15-year at my local liquor store. Oh, jeez. Someone asked if I'm streaming tomorrow. I don't know yet. I might be. Oh. That smells delicious. A second. All right, we'll go with this Game of Thrones cup. Give the first shot of this stuff. All right. Oh man, this stuff smells delicious. It's got a real, I don't know how to describe it. It's got a very sweet smell to it. Very distinct. Can't really compare it to much. Whoa. Wow. It like lights up your whole mouth and throat when you swallow. I feel like a young thought. That was amazing. Very, very good. Thank you so much to Rick Nikita. Yeah. The stopper, I'll have to figure out. The stopper seems wide, or not as wide as the bottle, so I'm gonna put the cork back in it. Okay. Well, that was delicious. I'll have a little bit more of that. And then we've got a couple chats to go through, and then we'll get started on the Legal Eagle video. If you are not familiar, the Legal Eagle video is Devin from Legal Eagle, and he is talking about Donald Trump's pardons. And I don't know if it is... I don't know if a man has ever been closer to menstruating than Devin was when he recorded that video. So that will be... We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. There's I don't know what else to say. I know Uncivil Law and Nate the lawyer had a discussion over this, I believe, the same video. And I have not watched their discussion of the video. And I do not in any ways intend to step on their toes or their analysis of the video at all. I encourage you fully, if you enjoy reviews of Legal Eagle's bullshit videos, then I encourage you fully to go over to Uncivil Law's channel and check out his reaction with Nate the lawyer, and see what's going on there. I will hopefully be doing a collaboration with Uncivil Law, either on my channel or on his channel in the very near future. The holidays, of course, have thrown all of my stuff into a tizzy, and I barely know what day it even is. So I have not really had many guests scheduled or anything like that. I believe I am on Brittany Venti's show tomorrow. Let me check that. Checking it right. Hold on, I'm checking my schedule right now. Sorry. I'm honestly like flummoxed. That little mini nap did not do me well. Yeah, I will be on Brittany Venti's show tomorrow at 6 p.m. To discuss a copyright issue. I'm not quite sure exactly what the issue is, but she has invited me on the show, so I will graciously accept that. I would like to be doing a collaboration with Uncivil Law in the very near future. I'm not 100% sure what day. On Friday, I think I will have Joe, who is a lawyer, I believe out of New York, who is new to YouTube. I will have him on. I think I've shared a couple of his rants or discussions on Twitter. I will have him on, I believe, on Friday to have a talk. It's not fully confirmed, but I think that's when that will happen. And then probably sometime next week, I'll be having a show with Nate the lawyer. Now, when I say Joe the lawyer, it's not Joe the lawyer, because I think there is Joe the lawyer. What's his name? I could find his. Let me get his I don't want to. I'm bad with names, okay? I'm bad with names. Joe Neerman. Joe Neerman on Twitter. You can actually find him. His show is called Good Logic, Lawgic. Very, very clever pun. And then I will also be inviting Eric Hunley on the show as well. I went on his show the other day. Very, very nice guy. Very interesting sort of approach. He interviews lots of different people and talks about things kind of from a behavioral perspective. And yeah, I had a nice chat with him on his show. I would love to have him on mine to talk about stuff. And then, of course, there will be other guests as well. That's the current lineup. And yes, Diamond Duck, I will be looking to schedule Kendra very, very soon. The hecticness of the holidays has kind of put a damper on pretty much all of this stuff. So yeah, that's that. That's what's coming for now. I'm sure there's something else I'm missing, but that's what I can remember that's going on right now. The past couple days, I have finally gotten kitchen countertops in. Most of my kitchen is rebuilt now, minus a one cabinet that needs to be finished up and some touch-ups where there were some scrapes and stuff like that occurred. And I have to throw a little bit of touch-up paint on a wall and put some silicone down. I finally have the function of my kitchen is basically back, and I am dying. I've been dying without having my kitchen for 4 months now. It's been very, very frustrating. So that has been messing with my sleep schedule. I've had people over again early to work on my kitchen. I've had to help out, and it's been great. It's been great. How is that not done in 2 weeks? Because everybody's so busy. The counter alone took 4 weeks for them to manufacture. Tian Gibbons, it's 11:20 p.m. Central Time. That's the question. All right. Gator Gamer as a guest sometime. Gator Gamer has been on this show as a guest. I'd probably have him back on too. Always have a good time with Gator on the show. But yeah, I haven't really been talking too much about anime lately with the election stuff. That has been kind of up front and center. Although there are some other things starting to open up as the election stuff kind of winds down. So, final thing. I know that the election-related content and the political content, especially of the shorter videos, is not really some people's thing. I do see some people who are not really like that. I'm trying to separate that out and to make it pretty obvious what content that is versus what content is more traditional to the channel, the deeper legal analysis and stuff like that. You'll tend to notice a very distinct difference in the length of those types of videos. And there may be other indicators as well. And I'm trying to keep that content largely off of the live streams to make the live streams, more of the traditional type. What I want to do is I want people to have access to that content if they like it. It's a quick hit. It is low time investment. I'm trying to make these videos just a couple minutes long so that people can kind of get a bit of info about something, see some stuff that I find interesting and go pursue it. But not let that seep into every aspect of the live stream. And if it's not something you want to see, I'm trying to make it very, very avoidable for you as well. So, yeah. So there you go. There you go. But yeah, tonight we are going to go in deep on Devin's video and then these Melinda Scott documents. Oh, and if you missed them in the FUG, I did a very thorough breakdown of the Toddy Westbrook versus Without a Crystal Ball jurisdictional argument. I thought that video was actually really good. I watched it. I did an internal review. I determined it was good. So I encourage you to check it out if you're interested at all in that sort of in that lawsuit. The jurisdictional question is one of the big hangups. And Nate the lawyer and I might talk a little bit about that when we have him on. The other thing the other big video I did that was related to a legal topic was I did a 30-minute sort of post-mortem on Meyer versus Wade. I assume most of you guys have seen those two videos, but in case you haven't, check those out. Those are kind of the Meyer versus Wade was a very important case for this channel that I've been following now for two and a half years, really, since the incidents occurred. And then, Without a Crystal Ball is a newer case, but it's big in the YouTube community. And there's some really, really interesting implications. If Toddy Westbrook wins the jurisdictional argument, the implications for commentary channels are massive and very, very dangerous. And I think Toddy may have some sort of claim. I'm not saying that what Without a Crystal Ball did is justified or right or good or anything like that at all. But if Toddy wins the jurisdictional argument, then that would allow people to Pixlexi, I see your first message, okay? That would allow people to bring a YouTube commenter into court across the country. And that is for something that they don't like hearing. And that is a lot to allow. So, that is, so it's an interesting case and has a lot of implications for, YouTube commentary channels like mine. The Dragon's Treasure has donated. He says, creative grift time. Coupon code Nick's Nose will expire January 2nd, but will be extended by 1 day for each $50 we make. Use it to get 10% off with 5% back to Nick. Let's see just how far we can extend Nick's Nose. So that's thedragonstreasure.com, who is, I can't call it a channel sponsorship because it's done through super chats and donations, but it's basically like a channel sponsorship, and great products, great tea. If you like tea and you like anime, the dragonstreasure.com is a haven for tea and anime lovers. Go check it out. The tea is really quite good. Sixth Floor Madness says, ever think about the fact that your penis has probably been in your mom longer than your dad's has? No, disgusting. Why? Oh my gosh. Okay, Bad Vibe says, what was the deal with Blizzard yesterday? I don't know what the deal with Blizzard was, but we had a blizzard. There was a blizzard at here in my neck of the woods. And with that blizzard, I was going to have a live stream, just a solo stream like this yesterday. But when the blizzard happened, Drexel was here, did not go home, and stayed an extra day instead because of the weather. And so we decided to do a movie stream over on Twitch rather than to do a live stream here. So that's what the deal with a blizzard. Automata says, spoiler, Devin endorses the idea of the Mueller probe making money and the concept of stochastic terrorism. He's mad at no consequences for the pardon, yet glad at the consequences that seized property isn't restored. Oh, he's a dumpster. And his video is all over the place. And kind of, it's really bad. We're gonna dump on it quite a bit. Ryan1096 says, Brittany, I believe, was complaining about getting a copyright strike from Cover, the company behind HoloLive. She kept going on about how people who are fans of Gaurgura like cheese pizza just because of her character design. Oh my goodness. Sauce, you got no notification for this stream because I used up all of my daily notifications on short videos. Unfortunately, until YouTube allows us to segregate out pre-recorded content versus live stream content, there's no way to avoid that. I can't pick what gets notifications. If I could do that, I would have no notifications on any short content and save it all for live streams, but they don't let us. YouTube gives you 3 notifications per day on your channel, and that's it. Okay. There we go. God, that is good. That is a good whiskey. I have not had anything like this. The flavor is, I mean, it's very, very unique. But really, it's the only reason why I might move the live stream off of this channel. And I really hate to do that, in all honesty. This is where the channel started. This is where live streaming has started for me. I'm not a big fan of moving the live streams off of the channel, but if there's a reason to do it, that is why. That is why. So I haven't decided to do that yet. I really don't want to, but if I do, know that that's a big reason why. Shadows King 101. You tried this before, remember? No, I didn't actually try live streaming from a different channel as the primary thing. But yeah, Volan, and that's why I don't, that's why I don't want to do it. It's hard to communicate to people where it goes. So, like I said, I don't have any plans to do it currently, but the things that have me considering it is the lack of ability to get notifications to people. Why not put short vids on the other channel since they'll get your name out? Because this channel has almost 100,000 subscribers, and it has a much better chance of getting the sort of traction per video to actually just bring people in. That's why. It's remember Stream Me? I do. I used to simulcast to Stream Me, and then Stream Me got caught up in, possibly stealing someone else's IP to run their website. It's a very big mess. Jared Frost says, Nick, thanks to a Justice Chat shout out from you. Family Relief for Troy on GoFundMe has gained a few more donations. Thank you to everyone who donated. There's a new update on the GoFundMe. Donations still appreciated. Part 1 of 2. Okay. BLT, I'm not jealous of Doug. I'm very happy for Doug getting to 100,000 views or 100,000 subscribers. He actually blew past it. He's like at 115,000 or something crazy. His channel has been just absolutely blowing up, and I've been taking notes from what Doug has been up to. Absolutely. It's a really interesting thing to see how YouTube's algorithm pushes certain content and how it works out. It's at some point, I will be able to convert. I've learned more about YouTube in the past week and a half of talking to Doug and trying different things and compiling that with knowledge that I've kind of gained in bits and stuff over the past couple years. But that's all coalesced in the past week and a half. And if you'll notice, I mean, the view counts on those videos are very, very, they're different. They're very different. Okay, I'm waiting for Jared Frost, the rest of his thing. While I wait for that, I will pull up this video. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Legal Eagle. God, you know what? I need to show you the thumbnail too. I was going to just pull the video up, but the thumbnail needs to be seen as well. So I'm going to have that there. the unbridled soy dripping out of Devin's pores. Okay. And all with the illusion of looking tough. Jared Frost, here is part 2 of that message. Jared Frost says, Troy just left Vanderbilt Hospital and will hopefully be able to find a way into rehab soon. Thank you again for everyone's help and prayers. This meant so much to the family to see the kindness of strangers. Well, thank you, Jared, for updating us on that. And thank you to everybody who checked out that GoFundMe and donated. Uncivil law. You can't stop me. You can't stop me. You can't stop me. Okay, guys, here's the look at this thumbnail. Look, no. Look at him. Look at the tough face he's got on. This has to stop. This has to stop. Oh. 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 Oh boy. Oh boy. All right. Okay. Look at it. Look at the first frame. This is the first frame of the video. What is wrong with this thing? I wonder if... What's that comment section? Where's the stupid comment section now? I don't want to see it. Here we go. Oh, no, I'm on my other account here. So we probably can't find it. I did leave a comment on Devin's video. I did leave a comment on my Rekieta Law channel. And it's not up top because I'm on my... this is clearly on my Rekieta Media channel. So, I apologize. We can't see it. My comment was, haha, haha, holy shit, Devin, this is pretty weak. That's what it was. God, look at that face. Oh, this is what's coming. This is a dark tide, a dark portent of things to come. Just right there. Right there. Saijiro, Seth. Seth is my favorite video game reviewer by far. By far, yes. So I was watching Seth videos the other day. Mainly because that guy, I like so many of the games that he reviews. All right. Are you guys ready for this? This video has 600,000 views and 60,000 likes. And if you read the comments, you will want to claw your eyes out, shove them in your ears, and then eat a bunch of cyanide. God, it's disgusting. Okay, here we go. I will be pausing this video with frequency, and I will be commenting on it as we pause it. This will take a little while. This is an 18-minute video. It's going to take a bit, so saddle up your horses or whatever. I think I've got the audio ready. No.
I actually don't know where to start.
Look at him! Oh my God, look at him! I don't know where to start. He's so exasperated. No, Devin, stop it. This is the most put on bullshit I have ever seen. I'm giving away too much. He has this affectation the entire time. This is a Karen looking for a manager, and he can't find one because the department he wants to yell at is the President of the United States. Mithrin Emrys says, Devin might have had a point had he referenced what the Constitution says, but it is lost under a combination of smug arrogance, ridiculous hyperbole, and his Trump derangement system. It just turns into Orange Man bad, so worst president. Maybe, except I don't think Devin even approaches having a point. He loses the script entirely, and he really comes close to outright misstating any level of reality about the presidential power of the pardon. And we'll get there. We will get there. Oh.
I'm so furious.
I'm so mad. I'm so
sad for our country.
And I'm crying for our country with a U.
That they claim to be the party of law and order.
Who's they? Is it Republicans, I guess? They claim to be the party of law and order? Because you're going to talk a bunch of shit about Trump, who, as chief executive, has the pardon power, and it is literally uncheckable. It is uncheckable. There is not a check other than impeachment on the power of the pardon. Republicans, who do not control the House, have nothing they can say. There's nothing to say about a pardon. You can't challenge it in court. Only thing you can do is bring impeachment. And guess what? As of right now, Joe Biden is likely going to be president in approximately 21 days. There is no purpose in impeaching President Trump over his pardons. It is purposeless. There is no benefit. There's no political reason for Republicans to stand up to President Trump with his definitely legal, probably pretty much unquestionably legal, but really, really bad pardons. Oh, we're going to get into this.
The hypocrisy makes it feel like ash in my mouth to even say it.
Really though? Does it? What hypocrisy? Hey guys, I've got a riddle for you. It's a legal riddle. What is the controlling law of the United States? It's the Constitution. Sorry, I spoiled it. What power is given to the President of the United States in the Constitution? It's the power of the pardon. Sorry, I spoiled it again. I'm bad at these riddles. I apologize a little bit. It is not in any way subversive, unlawful, or anything. It is actually lawful to issue pardons. It is quintessentially within the purview of the president. It is an enumerated power of the president. It is a plenary power of the president. It is the epitome of enacting law to pardon literally everybody whom the president wants. It cannot be anything less. That's the amazing part. Should we? Let's see. Let's get the text up here. Which section is it? I think it's section 2. Nope. Section 4. Nope. Damn it. Section 1. There it is. 2. Sorry. It's section 2. I was right the first time. Good job, me. Article 2, Section 2, Paragraph 1. And it's at the end, okay? He shall have power to grant reprieves and pardons for offenses against the United States, except in cases of impeachment. That's it. So other than an impeachment, which is not criminal, but rather a political process, the president does not have the ability to interfere with the political process of impeachment. It has everything to do with any federal criminal offense. Any. They originally talked about not including it for treason. Guess what? The president can pardon someone for fucking treason. They can pardon someone for anything. There isn't an improper use of the pardon power. In fact, the president likely can pardon himself, which is weird. That's a weird one. No one has done this, but unquestionably, the president can pardon his closest associates, his friends, his allies, people who supported him. Now, let's talk about why real quick. No, let's not talk about why until Legal Eagle fucks up on this. And if he does, whoa, I'm getting ahead of myself. Maybe he'll get through this without screwing the pooch twice. We'll see. But when we get there, just remember, we're going to talk about why a president might be able to pardon his political and personal allies. Why on earth could the founders definitely couldn't have seen it coming? Definitely not. And when this Mithrin Emrys, Kyle Cowden says, OT and Shameless Shill, my daughter Sable Breeze has her EP, Nothing I'd Rather Do, on pre-sale on iTunes. 5 deep, poignant, and beautiful songs about life and love. Her EP will be out everywhere January 1st. God bless. Guys, go check out Sable Breeze on iTunes. And the album is Nothing I'd Rather Do. That is Kyle Cowden's daughter. Kyle's been a longtime viewer and supporter of the channel. Give it a shot. See if you like Sable's music. That would be awesome. Okay. Mithrin Emrys says he also wanders way off the reservation about halfway through when he starts speculating about state charges, failing to understand that any such actions, even if warranted, will be seen as political retaliation. Oh, we're going to get there. We're going to get there. Okay. Here we go. We're 21 seconds in, y'all.
Because there's no depth, no illegality to which the president will not stoop.
It's not illegal. It's quintessentially legal. It is. This is like saying Congress has passed a bill. There is no depth of illegal acts that Congress could do but minting money. I mean, who said Congress could mint money? I mean, I know they can mint money under the Constitution. Of course they can, but they have minted money. Have you thought about what happens when Congress maintains a post office? Or levies and collects taxes? Oh my goodness.
It's astounding.
I didn't pause
the president
this.
Has
I didn't pause that. That was him. It's astounding.
completed what appears to be the first raft of pardons in the lame duck period. It's a murderer's row of the unpardonable.
No, they're not unpardonable. They can't be unpardonable. The entire purpose of the pardon is to pardon. There isn't an unpardonable. The only unpardonable thing is an impeachment, which isn't criminal. You literally can't have an unpardonable. Guess what? If you walk down the street eating children alive while defiling the corpses of their mothers in front of their fathers and then napalmed a bunch of orphanages, A president can pardon you for whatever federal crime was involved in that. And that's not even unpardonable. Nothing criminal, federal, is unpardonable by the President of the United States. Literally zero things. Again, treason, bribery, extortion, literal murder, kidnapping, it doesn't matter. Anything.
Though an actual row of murderers are probably less morally blameworthy than the people that actually received the pardons.
What the fuck? What? What? This man is saying that murderers are less blameworthy than Charles Kushner, Paul Manafort, and fucking Roger Stone? So, financial crimes. These murderers are less morally to blame. That's a pretty big presumption there, Devin. What the hell are you talking about? I mean, like, look, there's some accidental murderers, sure, I guess, or whatever, you know, like they get caught up in a felony murder, they robbed a grocery store and somebody had a heart attack. I guess that law school question of when that happens, yeah, maybe that guy's not as morally culpable because he didn't mean to, but a lot of murderers really fucking meant it. I was just reading, especially federal murderers. Like, again, the types of murders that you can pardon at the federal level have to be a federal, like you drug someone across state lines to murder them in New Jersey or something. Well, because everybody who gets murdered in New Jersey has to go to purgatory. Like, the amount of depth that is required to get to where he is amazing. Oh my God. I was reading a story about a woman who is down in Houston who just got out of prison on parole after 16 years after murdering her husband. How did she murder him? She murdered him by stabbing him 193 times. I think she meant it. I'm pretty sure she's morally culpable for stabbing a man 193 times. It wasn't like an accident. Oh my God. Here we go.
Actual war criminals who were responsible for killing innocent Iraqi citizens, including women and children.
Okay. Yep, he can do that too. Except, are they actual war criminals if they're not charged with war crimes? Because if they were war criminals charged under international law for violating like the Geneva Convention or something, he actually wouldn't have the power to pardon them because that's not a federal crime. So,
ridiculously corrupt politicians like Chris Collins and Duncan Hunter, who were convicted of and were about to serve extensive prison sentences related to...
What did Chris Collins and Duncan Hunter do? Remember, murderers are less morally culpable than what he's about to say.
To insider trading and also embezzling campaign funds, including but not limited to spending those campaign funds on extramarital affairs.
All right, so spending campaign funds on an extramarital affair or murder. Look, I'm not a proponent of taking campaign funds and spending it on a mistress, something that has been done by more politicians than I could fucking care to count, including a bunch of Democrats this year in this election cycle. I mean, other than that, though, I'm not a fan of that by any means, but I'd rather have that than murder. At least a hoe is getting paid, right?
Actual traitors to this country, like Paul Manafort.
Traitor to the country, Paul Manafort. Traitor to the country, Paul Manafort for failure to disclose funds that he received acting on behalf of the Ukrainian government. He's now a traitor to the country. Obviously, Paul Manafort was tried and convicted for treason as a traitor to the country, right? Nope. Just some run-of-the-mill financial crimes for failure to disclose, acting as an agent of a foreign country, and failure to disclose financial gain from said agency. Again, should Paul look at the crazy eyes on Paul. Damn. Should Paul Manafort have been charged and convicted? Maybe. Would Paul Manafort have been charged and convicted normally? That's a different question. And this is why we start to get to the power of the purpose of a pardon. And why that power extends to other areas. Paul Manafort, his crimes were discovered as a result of the Mueller probe and the Russia investigation. An investigation politically propagated and propped up by a lie to the FBI and a fake dossier created by a paid operative of Donald Trump's political opponent for the purposes of influencing an election. A paid foreign operative. Something that Donald Trump was accused of doing and didn't do, Hillary Clinton did do to Trump. And that led to the prosecution of Paul Manafort.
Who was a direct conduit to the Russians through Konstantin Kilimnik and Oleg Deripaska. And, of course, the president's cronies, including, but not limited to, Paul Manafort, but also Roger Stone and George Papadopoulos.
With the accused, not convicted, accused of the crime of inappropriately taking money from the Build a Wall GoFundMe. Very morally culpable. Accused of taking money from that fund. Again, not convicted of that crime. Yes, guys, I know there's a police shooting in Minneapolis. It is not my city. They are rioting in. I'm a couple hours away from Minneapolis. I am aware. I'm not aware of the details, but, you know, who needs Target or whatever? Just burn them down again. Just don't burn down the Target I go to. Well, actually, it's kind of a shitty little one. Burn it down. Maybe they'll build a bigger one. Shout out to Uncivil Law. He's on the edge of breaking 20K before the end of the year. Oh, guys, if you're not subscribed to Uncivil Law, go check him out immediately. Great guy, great commentary, very interesting cases, and really gets in depth on the law. Go check it out. All right, here we go. Back to this.
There's just no end to the depravity.
Actually, there is, because Trump has pardoned so few people so far that Devin doesn't really have any more people to bitch about. There's just no end to the depravity. Except for here, where I'm out of people to complain about. Whoops.
This is unprecedented in its baseness, in its venality.
Nope.
We've just never seen anything like this in the...
You mean, wait a minute. Abraham Lincoln pardoned everybody in the Civil War. He pardoned the literal most traitorous group of people that have ever existed in U.S. history by measure of creating an armed insurrection that led to the deaths of hundreds of thousands of Americans and almost broke the Union entirely. And Lincoln pardoned them. And he should have. He should have done that. There's nothing wrong with what Lincoln did at all. But I mean, if we're talking about controversial pardons, those men were going to be hung for treason, justifiably so, under the law. And Abraham Lincoln's like, we're not hanging anyone. And then he went to Minnesota and hung a bunch of Indians in the largest mass execution in U.S. government history. That's a different story. Way to go, Abe. Abe of the Tall Gallows or whatever. But I mean, the idea that this is somehow new. You know what I want? Because I haven't looked, but did Grant pardon anybody? Grant, one of the most corrupt presidents in history, entirely nepotism and incompetence, rampant in the Grant administration. Did he pardon anybody? I'm guessing there was some corrupt pardoning going on there. Has Devin done a full account of pardons? Has he? I don't think so. I can't even imagine that he's done any reasonable survey of pardons. That was Johnson. What was Johnson? Jackson was the... Ooh. Yeah, who did Andrew Jackson pardon? Abe of the Tall Gallows is savage. I need to make that in an RPG. 1,332 pardons for Grant. Oh my God. Okay, what's next? Here we go.
In the U.S. Effectively, every significant defendant who refused to cooperate with both the Mueller investigation and also just main justice have now been pardoned. The only exception...
Refused to cooperate. Listen to this pile of trash. They were being politically prosecuted. And done so under false pretenses from a lie within the FBI. A lie that the man who lied has been convicted for and is awaiting sentencing. They were political prosecutions, but they refused to cooperate with the Mueller investigation. Hey, Mueller, investigate me so I can tell you fuck you to your face. Why would you cooperate with an investigation? What kind of lawyer are you, Devin? Cooperate with an investigation. Jesus Christ. Kakalo Tuzaro says, hey Nick, I turned 29 5 days ago. Can I get a late happy birthday from my second favorite lawyer after Legal Eagle? Oh, I'm kidding. Yeah, you can. Ask Greg Doucette for it. No, I'm just... Kakalo Tuzaro, happy birthday to you, friend. Happy birthday. Oh. Okay, sorry.
Being Rick Gates and Michael Cohen, both of whom actually testified and cooperated against the president. And this...
Michael Cohen, disbarred, right? Wasn't Michael Cohen disbarred? Let me just look real quick. I believe so. Michael Cohen disbarred? Disbarred in New York. Oh, why did they disbar Michael Cohen? Let's see. 5-judge panel found that Cohen, who began a 3-day stretch of congressional testimony on Tuesday, should be disbarred for his federal conviction for having previously made false statements to Congress, the decision said. Oh, woo. Well, there you go. Why was Michael Cohen disbarred? Because he's a known liar. His cooperation means a whole lot. Good job, Michael Cohen. Trying to save your own skin. Why? Arguably violated attorney-client privilege. You know, one of those things that lawyers are supposed to value. I guess Devin doesn't care. Elliot Hacker says, this guy is still trying to prove he deserved the lead in his high school play. Dramatic pause.
This is tin pot dictator banana republic level corruption.
Really? I mean, think about what he's saying. I have to pause this every 2 seconds because think about what he just said. Tin pot, dictator, banana, public levels of corruption. He used his literal constitutional authority to do what he is constitutionally authorized to do. He didn't murder or jail his political allies, and he probably could have. He hasn't done anything. He didn't generate a lie to abuse the FISA court to spy on Joe Biden through an illegal wiretap in the 2020 presidential election. Obama did that. Devin, do you want to talk about political corruption and a banana republic? My God, man.
If this seems like comic book villainy,
then you're an idiot. If this seems like comic book villainy, then you're an idiot, or you need to de-soy. You need to go drink testosterone. Go buy a jar of Alex Jones's sweat and bathe in it, because you need to man the fuck up. You've been watching Devin too long. And that is the worst part of Devin's comment section. Dirty Dan says, think about what he's saying because he sure isn't.
That's because it is. This is not a close case. This is not an issue of red versus blue.
He's right. It's not even fucking close. It's not red versus blue at all. Devin has no case. He has absolutely no point. He has nothing here because everything the president has done so far with regards to pardons is 100% legal, whether you like it or not. I don't care what he's doing with the pardon power because we give the president the pardon power. I didn't really care when Obama pardoned more people than like anybody ever. Don't care. It doesn't. There's nothing to say about it. Nothing to say at all. And he's right. It's not even close. Because there's nothing even remotely wrong with it.
This is just pure flat out corruption.
Nope.
And I guess let's start with the bad news, because on some levels, this is worse than it appears. It's not just that the morally reprehensible and actual criminals have been pardoned.
That's literally what a pardon is. You have to pardon an actual criminal because you can't pardon the innocent. There's nothing to pardon. They have to be an actual fucking criminal.
It's that this threatens the very fabric of our justice system. In part because...
And again, no, it does not. It doesn't. Because the justice system is built contemplating the pardon.
Because this is just the opening act. There's no reason to think that President Trump is going to stop with these pardons.
There's also no reason to think that President Trump will pardon more people, especially if he's pardoned all of his political allies that have done something. You can assume he would be done. I mean, there's no reason to think either way, because you won't know. You have to just wait to see what the president does.
In fact, there's very good reason to think that this is just out there to get people tired. That the
who's getting tired? What are you talking about? He completely lost his train of thought there. It's embarrassing. Start the video over or edit it, Devin.
Worst pardons are yet to come. And
what worst pardons? What worst pardons would there be? You've already laid out his political allies being pardoned. What would be worse? I mean, you've already said that murderers would be better.
It's the usual suspects who are the obvious candidates here.
Oh, okay.
There's no reason to think that the president will refrain from pardoning Jared Kushner.
What crime?
Pardoning Bill Barr.
What crime?
Pardoning himself.
What crime?
Ivanka.
What crime?
Don Jr.
What crime?
Alan Weisselberg, the
What crime?
The CFO of the Trump organization. But President Trump doesn't have those lines.
What lines? What crime? What crime? What crime, Devin? None of them are charged. Not a single one of them are charged with a federal crime for President Trump to pardon at this point. Not even that. None of them are credibly even accused of a crime. Socialism is for Figs says, hey, you can pardon non-criminals. Look at Michael Flynn. He wasn't convicted of anything at the time of pardon. Wrong. Michael Flynn was actually convicted at the time of the pardon. Michael Flynn was convicted. His sentencing was not finished. And they were arguing over whether or not the government could withdraw from prosecution. But Michael Flynn had been convicted due to a guilty plea. He was attempting to withdraw his guilty plea, and there were hearings about it. So, yep, he's still convicted there. You can pardon someone who is not convicted. You're correct. If they technically, I guess you could pardon them for things they haven't been formally charged with, although that'd be kind of weird. But yeah, the idea is generally there's a charge outstanding for someone, or an obvious crime, or an imminent charge.
He doesn't feel shame, and he doesn't give a damn about political norms.
Thank Christ he doesn't give a damn about political norms. That's why people like him. As for not feeling shame, I don't think that's true about President Trump. I don't know. That's entirely a biased opinion that he has no basis in fact to make. He may experience shame in a different way than you. He may not demonstrate it publicly like you are. Like, Devin should be ashamed of this. Like, I could conclude from this video that Devin doesn't experience shame either because he's fucking embarrassing.
Because what happened here is a really, really big deal. President Trump is pardoning a whole bunch of people who engaged in criminality in furtherance of the president's own agenda, for his own campaign, and for other reasons that benefit President Trump personally. Because...
And again, presidents can do this. Your remedy is impeachment. That's it. Impeach him. Wait, you tried that. You failed.
The problem with pardoning people who engage in actual criminality for the benefit of the sitting president, if the president is allowed to pardon and absolve guilt after the fact,
He is absolutely allowed to pardon and absolve guilt after the fact. Typically, that's when pardons occur.
a million ways for a sitting president to grift that. Let's take an extreme example. We often talk about how the president...
I love this implication, to grift that. The idea that he's going to put forward is the idea that President Trump is selling pardons. He's a quid pro quo of literal money for pardons. Because I guess President Trump needs money for pardons. You know, he's a billionaire who makes significant passive income. He has the presidential salary. He will have millions of dollars per year in staff allowances given to him by Congress every year for the rest of his life. He and his family will have free health care. The family of the president will probably have part of that staff budget as well. What's he getting? What's he getting out of this?
Could kill someone on Fifth Avenue. But what if the president hired someone to kill a political opponent and then decided to pardon them? Or a less...
He could. It's amazing. He could. You would then impeach the president, and then you would charge the president with the solicitation of murder of his political opponent. And probably with treason. And then you would give him the death penalty. That's how you would handle it. Bad Vibe says, there isn't a law against charging for the process as long as it goes to federal accounts, right? Wait. You mean, like, is there a filing fee for filing for a pardon? I don't know. I don't know what exactly you're asking. If you're asking about a filing fee or something, I don't know if there's a filing fee in the pardon request form. I don't think there is. I think it's mainly just a letter. But in any case, it would likely be improper for a president to accept money for a political favor. That would be a different kind of crime.
Extreme example. Let's call it stochastic terrorism, where the president just says, hey, it'd be really great if someone killed my main political rival. And then if you actually pardoned that person, which potentially the president could do.
Yes, he can. Everything except impeachment.
Well, then it just incentivizes actual murder of political opponents.
Yet that hasn't happened. This is a very important note, that even though this is an option apparently available to all presidents, literally none of them have been accused of doing this.
And while that's obviously extreme, Vladimir...
Obviously extreme because it hasn't happened. No one's done this, Devin. It's a completely fictitious, hypothetical example that you're trying to use to hyperbolize the pardon of white-collar crime.
Putin has tried this twice with his main political rival, Alexei Navalny. And obviously there's a state law issue here. Murder.
Putin. Oh, I didn't realize Putin was subject to the jurisdiction of U.S. law over in Moscow, attempting to kill another Russian politician over in Moscow, and that Putin similarly was pardoned for his attempts. Putin has nothing at all to do with this discussion.
Murder is generally a state law crime, so maybe the pardon wouldn't work. But how about this? What if the president...
Oh yeah, there is that wrinkle, isn't there, Devin? Pardon probably wouldn't work. Oh my God.
Intentionally engaged in all kinds of campaign finance violations, getting, let's say, billions of dollars for a campaign slush fund, and then just pardoned all the people who engaged in campaign finance violations for the benefit of the sitting president.
Yes, then you impeach the president, Devin.
Who would then have the benefit of billions of dollars of campaign funds. If the president can pardon...
Again, that didn't happen. That hasn't happened.
Pardon co-conspirators, or pardon those who engage in criminality at the president's benefit, or just simply hand out pardons like thank you cards. There is no end to gaming the system.
There is an end when it doesn't happen.
And of course, on the other side of the aisle, so far, the Republicans have been absolutely silent. Those people who will jump over themselves to fawn over this president. Ben Shapiro, Mark Levin, Tucker Carlson.
Oh, Ben Shapiro has been an avid and full-throated supporter of Trump forever. Yes, no stronger Trump supporter out there than Ben Shapiro.
Have said absolutely nothing. Nothing. And like I said, this isn't a close case. This is not my side versus yours. This is an affront to the actual rule of law.
Nope. It is a rule of law. It is a rule of the law. It is the law.
Really, at this point, only Ben Sasse has had the temerity to even criticize the move, saying that this is rotten to the core. Well, gee, thanks, Ben. Thank you for your service. And by backing those words up with absolutely no action whatsoever.
Senator Ben Sasse, who does not hold the power of impeachment as he is not in the House.
Because there's a lot of damage that's actually going to keep happening before January 20th gets here. And there is absolutely nothing that's in the works to try and stop this. But
stop what?
I shouldn't criticize Ben Sasse. At least he came forward publicly and at least criticized the president.
There's nothing to stop. There's nothing to stop. It's all legal. It's all within the Constitution. Again, you could impeach President Trump again if you want. You could try and do it. You would likely fail again. And there would be no reason to do this at all because by all accounts, especially of the Devons of the world, Trump will be out of the office on January 20th. And yes, lame duck pardons are a thing. Absolutely. It's a perk of the job.
Everybody else seems to be happy just to sit idly by in silent.
Yes.
And unfortunately, it gets worse.
Oh, does it now?
Contrary to what you...
Remember, it gets worse than the hypothetical of having someone murder his political opponents and also to create billions of dollars in campaign slush funds through illegal campaign contributions, and pardoning all of those people as well, seating himself on a permanent golden throne of power. It gets worse.
Read on Facebook or Twitter, Trump is almost certainly not going to face criminal scrutiny for even pardoning Manafort or Stone or anybody else. Not. Absent actual evidence that there was an explicit quid pro quo between Trump and his co-conspirators, there's not going to be criminal repercussions.
There is no criminality. Devin. So no, yes, absent actual evidence, there's not going to be any criminal charges. Oh my God. What a revelation. Oh, thank you, Legal Eagle. Please have another 1 million subscribers.
It's just not. And I don't think even an aggressive attorney general in the next administration is going to change that. It's an abuse.
You know what we would love? This would be great. Let's get aggressive attorney generals to go after our defeated and defunct political opponents. Remember everything that they were bitching about with Trump telling Hillary she'd be in jail? And again, one of my concerns where I liked the line, I thought it was a great line, but I was like, wait a minute, if Trump is talking about jailing his political opponents, that would end up being a bad thing. That creates a cycle of violence that escalates and escalates. It's a bad thing to go after former presidents. I don't know if you remember this, but Nixon was pardoned for that very same reason. There's no going after your political opponents, especially your defeated political opponents, looks really terrible.
Use of power. The guardrail is impeachment.
Some Democrat congressman wrote an opinion article about stopping the abuse of the pardon power. Amend the Constitution.
And when you have a couple of days left in the Trump presidency, impeachment is no real guardrail whatsoever. So for all intents and purposes, it's unlikely that President Trump is going to face any kind of real scrutiny as a result of these actions.
Look at how mad he is at this. Like, who cares? Get over it. Look at how personally upset Devin looks about the fact that Trump isn't going to go to prison forever for exercising his power of the pardon. Random Blaze says, the Democrat rules for thee and not for me crap is getting old. A Republican pardons someone is wrong. Democrats do it and all is right. Let's not forget that Obama pardoned a drug dealer that is now back in prison for dealing again. Look at that face. Oh, he's so fucking mad.
And while these are uncharted waters, absent...
They're not uncharted. These waters are charted with every presidency. All of them.
Very strong proof of a separate crime like extortion or bribery. These pardons are not going to be declared illegal. And it's not even clear that if you found this separate criminality that it could be declared illegal.
Yeah, it's amazing that even if those pardons aren't illegal at all, there may be an illegal act that leads to a pardon. That would be a separate thing. Those pardons don't get undone. You don't get a presidential pardon undone. You know why? Because there's no way to undo it. There is no challenge to the pardon power. What are you going to do? That's the opposite of the way we do things.
Pardons themselves. And don't expect future state or federal prosecutions of Manafort or Stone. The complications are probably grave enough that it's unlikely that they're going to face punishment for their actual crimes.
What actual crime did Stone commit, Devin? What actual crime did Stone commit? I don't know that you have an answer for that. He's been accused. He may have been convicted had the trial gone on. Not quite certain on that, though.
And like I said, the pardons will continue. The message has been sent.
Oh, you don't know that the pardons will continue. You have no idea. They might. I hope they do. I hope he pardons Assange, and I hope he pardons Snowden. I think that would be two of the best moves of Donald Trump as a president. And, by the way, it would put a huge machete through the stupid arm of the idea that Trump is an anti-media president, and would put a strong inoculating shot into the idea that Trump is an anti-mainstream media president. And if he pardoned Assange and Snowden, it would validate and vindicate the idea that independent journalism is important, and not only important, but absolutely critical to the sanctity of the union.
That if you uphold your silence against who is effectively a mafia don, you're going to get a pardon. You will be rewarded for your service and contravention of justice.
Yes.
There's no real silver lining there.
That is the silver lining if you're the guy getting rewarded. Like, not to call you out, Devin, but you kind of missed that silver lining. That guy's like, whew, I was about to get prosecuted. I didn't want to go to federal prison, but now I'm all good. That guy's got a big silver lining.
That die is cast. That norm has been broken. And you can expect that future administrations are going to take note. If
past administrations took note.
There are no real penalties for abusing the pardon power this way. And it's ironic, too, because traditionally the pardon power has been grossly underused. There are thousands of people who receive grossly inappropriate sentences every year.
Name them. I mean, I agree, but name them to pardon. That's the problem. There's a pardon application for a reason, and the pardon, the Office of Clemency can deal with those as they come through. Should they be done more often? Yeah, pardon a bunch of federal drug offenders, low-level drug offenders who have improper sentences. Trump did that, by the way, for I believe it was a woman who was charged with a life sentence for like an attempt to possess cocaine or something. She had some ridiculous sentence. Trump pardoned her. Great, good job. Praise him for that. That was a good pardon. That's actually one of the pardons that Obama did, or some of the pardons that Obama did were for some drug crimes that had mandatory minimum sentences, and mandatory minimum sentences on drug crimes are bad thing. They were a bad program. Good ideas or good intentions, bad results. Very unwieldy results where people with a couple marijuana plants went to prison for like 30 years. Ridiculous types of stuff. Turbo Garbage says, are his dumb books backlit? Yes. Yes, they are. Because he reads them, and they're definitely not just a fake decoration.
For all the good that the justice system does, it does a lot of bad, too. Or at least it's often overzealous in punishing crimes. And there are a lot of people who...
Does it even cross his mind for a moment that some of the people he has mentioned as being the worst heathens on the planet, that the Justice Department overzealously prosecuted them? Does it even cross his mind for a moment that these are political targets?
Who are in jail that arguably should not be. And historically, presidents are much more likely to underuse the pardon power than they are to overuse it.
You already said that.
And to date, we've never seen anything like what President Trump has done.
Really? Really?
But the whataboutism is strong.
Wait a minute. What? He may now attempt what no one thought a president would ever try. What's that? Is that pardoning himself? Because lots of people thought presidents would try this.
Like what President Trump has done. But the whataboutism is strong. People have pointed to the pardoning of Mark Rich by President Clinton. And that pardon rightfully sparked bipartisan outrage. It sparked congressional inquiries. This is not to say that...
I thought this was unprecedented. Wait a minute. This is literally precedented. You're telling us about it right now.
That particular pardon was in any way just or correct. People were rightly outraged about it. But this is so much worse.
Oh, is it?
There was and should have been political fallout for that pardon. But what we're seeing out of the Trump administration...
Should Bill Clinton have gone to prison for it? Because that's what you're suggesting with Trump, you weirdo.
...administration is much, much worse.
How?
It's dozens of individuals who have a direct connection to the president. And the pardon is being used in a way that really does undermine the rule of law. And that's...
No, it doesn't. That's the amazing thing. It literally can't. It can't undermine the rule of law. Let's take a minute. Let's take a minute and talk about why it's important that the president can pardon his political allies. Okay? And again, the check on this is impeachment. This is a check. Because a president might have political allies, it stands to reason that just maybe a president of the United States may have political opponents, and he may have them in several places in government. And those political opponents may take a retributive action against allies of the president when the president himself is temporarily, during his tenure in the White House, very, very difficult to attack. So it just might be that actions that are either legal, questionably legal, or would otherwise not be discovered, are discovered against individuals in a way because of a zealous approach to attacking a sitting president through their political support network. Now, I have no idea if any of that is true as far as Trump's pardons. Again, I don't care. We give the president of the United States unlimited amounts of get-out-of-jail-free cards for federal crimes. Unlimited and uncheckable get-out-of-jail-free cards for federal crimes. He can hand them out to whomever he wants without question. Nobody can stop him. But there is a reason that the founders who debated this specific part of the Constitution, there's a reason that they said, even for treason, the president's power to pardon should be unquestionable. And that reason is that when you are around a president like Ivanka Trump, Jared Kushner, Donald Trump Jr., their mere relation to the president and their willingness to work in his organizations and in his campaign has exposed them to attacks from potentially overzealous prosecutors, which might cause them massive amounts of grief or hardship or even criminal charges, because the law is the reaper which comes for us all in the end. And the overwhelming majority of Americans do commit several crimes a year, even if they're not trying to. You just end up doing them. So to suggest that that people are all these walking around angels and would never, no one would ever be subject to the law unless they were guilty is absolutely untrue. That is why The power of the pardon exists for political allies of a president because they have a higher level of exposure by mere association and a vulnerability because the president is then vulnerable through his sympathies for them. That is why it's checkable by the impeachment power, by the way. If the president does this all the time, then you can go ahead and remove him from office and say, okay, you need to go. Your pardoning is absurd and ridiculous. Get out. That's how you take care of it. Other than that, the president gets to do this as much as he wants. And you get to politically attack him for it. You can go after his legacy. You can kvetch about it like you're doing here. Go ahead. But you can't suggest that it's illegal or it threatens the rule of law or anything like that. It is the rule of law. Calajan Voyater says, cheers to my eldest aunt who suddenly passed away earlier today. Organ failure. 89 last month and was like a mom to me. Always on my side. I drop all for her for all she always did for me. Thanks for the distraction tonight was needed. Calajan, to your aunt. Peace be upon her. All right. Here we go.
That's not an exaggeration.
It is an exaggeration.
Because it's going to change the way that political institutions use the pardon in the future. And it's not going to get better unless there are real punishments.
Nope, that's not true. It will not change the way it's done. Trump is not revolutionary in using the pardon power. Pardon power could always be used this way, was always used in this way. And Nix Hex says, with all of Devin's pauses, gulps, uhs, and his weird arrhythmic meter, it's a wonder anyone wants to listen to him talk for more than a minute. This isn't even considering his cheesy image content and overall stupidity. It's, Devin sucks. Fucking bad.
Now, I may be your discount John Krasinski, but let me try to give you some...
You're not a discount John Krasinski. You're just a chump.
Good news here. The first is that Paul Manafort is not going to get his townhouses or ostrich jackets back.
Listen to how salty this man is.
Ex parte Garland, a pardon does not restore offices forfeited or property or interest vested in others in consequences of the conviction and judgment. So at least the Mueller investigation will still have turned a profit.
No, it won't. The Mueller investigation is one of the shames of the country, if you ask me, because it was all predicated on lies. Lies known by the people in charge of furdering it. And that has come out time and time again as Congress questioned Andrew McCabe, Peter Strzok, whatever his name is. As they've questioned these guys, it has become more and more clear that the Mueller investigation was entirely a political hit, and again, predicated on known lies.
You also probably know that these pardons don't really affect state law prosecutions, if there is indeed state-based criminality. We know that there are ongoing investigations, particularly in New York, but I counsel you, don't hero worship.
Don't be counseled by this man.
The investigators.
Never hero worship an investigator. Unlike Devin over here licking the drippings of Mueller. And by drippings, I mean the skin falling off of his eyes. Don't hero worship investigators. This is the government cracking down on private citizens. It should be something we do sparingly and begrudgingly, never celebrated.
We've been burned time and time again that sometimes that's just too much pressure to put on people like New York AG Tish James and Manhattan DA Cy Vance. A lot of the criminality that has been pardoned is purely federal with respect to lying to federal prosecutors.
Hot take, it should be legal to lie to prosecutors. Fuck them.
With respect to federal campaign finance violations.
Hot take, there should be no campaign finance limitations because campaign finance should be protected First Amendment speech.
And insider trading.
Hot take, don't insider trade.
It's unlikely that a lot of those crimes have state law counterparts that could even be investigated and punished, let alone will be. That being said, Paul Manafort was convicted of numerous different tax crimes, and it's likely that New York State has similar state law tax crimes that he could be charged with. And even better news, recently...
It's such good news that someone will be prosecuted. Imagine living your life like this. Man, I hope those people get criminal charges. Oh my God, just go do whatever you're gonna do.
The New York legislature closed a pardon loophole that would have prevented prosecution of someone who receives a pardon when there is an ancillary New York state law to.
While we're on the subject of politically motivated things related to crime, let's talk about this. New York has specifically passed a law to go after people that are otherwise pardoned for their offenses. Specifically passed a law to allow this. And it's entirely motivated by New York prosecutors and New York legislators' desires to attack the allies of the President of the United States. This is, by Devin's own definition, literal political corruption, just going in the opposite way.
To prosecute them under. So while Paul Manafort was initially successful in appealing his New York prosecutions, it's possible that now that New York has closed this loophole that they can move forward with prosecuting him on state law crimes.
Hopefully not, because that seems like that would be a post facto, a bill of attainder, so to speak. That would be something that was done. You know, a law was changed after your conviction, which you appealed and successfully won. They were able to go after him again. That should be double jeopardy, and it should be a post facto prosecution.
It's an open question. We'll see what the New York appellate courts hold. You've also likely heard a lot about the Fifth Amendment with respect to being pardoned. And it is indeed true that receiving a presidential pardon, if you accept it, does limit the scope under which you can claim the Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination. But it's unfortunately not absolute.
I hate the production value of this guy's videos. I hate everything about his videos. They're such fucking garbage. I hate them. There's no honesty or soul in any of it. I hate it. I hate it. Here we go. If you face state law liability, you can still use the Fifth Amendment after accepting presidential pardon to avoid implication. Do you know why? Because you're not pardoned from state law crimes, only from federal crimes. And you can't use a federal crime to go ahead and prosecute for a state law crime. So now that I've sang it, it's more true. It's a logical outcome. You can't be forced to incriminate yourself at the state level because you admitted to something at the federal level.
If you face state law liability, then you can still invoke the Fifth Amendment privilege. So this will indeed help both prosecutors and investigators with respect to inquiries related to these pardons and the underlying criminality, but it's not going to help that much, unfortunately.
Remember, this is his good news segment. Look at how much cope is happening. Oh, afterwards, I think I'm going to Photoshop some copium tanks onto this beta bitch.
Additionally, it's possible that the pardons themselves might be crimes. Maybe.
No, it isn't.
I wouldn't put too much stock in this, but remember...
Put zero stock in this. Absolutely none. I wouldn't put too much... Devin, stop. Stop. Just stop. OR2891 says, can I get a happy birthday from my actual favorite lawyer, longtime watcher, first time donator? Hey, keep doing what you do. You can use my real name, Chris. Chris, happy birthday to you, good sir. Thank you for being a fan of the channel and the show. I appreciate it. May you have many, many more birthdays with many people that you love celebrating with you. Peace to you, friend.
That I said that President Trump is not going to face criminal prosecution for these pardons. Well, it's possible that he might. There's a slim chance, but it's possible. We've seen time and time again.
We've seen time and time again
that these members of the Trump administration, especially the ones who have been around since the beginning, are completely inept.
Completely inept.
The DOJ has already gotten wind of a pardon for purchase scheme related to Elliot Broidy.
Oh, well, if the DOJ has gotten wind of something, that's basically the same as it having happened and someone being convicted for it.
And it's possible that there is an explicit agreement between members of the Trump administration and these pardons.
Yeah.
It's possible
likely
that people did attempt or were successful at buying a pardon. You can look at the list of people who received pardons, and it's not just Republican cronies and Trump cronies, people who actually engaged in real criminality, but also those who engaged in real criminality and are also just very, very rich. People that don't necessarily fit into this category of people who are being rewarded by the president for their service to the president. People who might have the means to actually buy a pardon. And
again, the mere suggestion of buying a pardon from a president is based on who the presidents are, who the presidents have been in recent history, and what happens to a president after they leave office. And that is they get a massive increase in wealth, personal wealth. Their opportunity goes up. You know, they write books that make millions of dollars. They have access to resources. They do speaking campaigns, and they live the rest of their life in relative comfort. The idea that they're out there selling pardons is, and that's just the average president. That's not counting someone who's already a billionaire president. This is the question is, what do you have to offer a Donald Trump to sway him into giving you a pardon? Because, like, that'd be like, okay, that'd be like someone coming up to me and they go, hey man, can you say hi to me? And yeah, and they're like, well, I'll give you like $5 if you say hi to me. And I'm like, I'll just say hi to you, buddy. It's fine. Hey, what's up? Hi, how's it going? There's not, like, you don't have to give me anything because it doesn't cost me anything to give this thing to you. So, and the very nature of a pardon is one that has a request process. There is a request for pardons. You can request a federal pardon for yourself if you want one. You may not get it, but you can certainly request it. So the idea of there being an explicit quid pro quo involved in a pardon with a president who is a billionaire, who is independently wealthy, who has no known reason to take that bribe, there's no like underlying leverage that is concerning that would indicate some sort of propensity to accept a bribe for a pardon that he could just give. And the weird thing is, like, offering to pay for a pardon, okay, would be less, how do I word this? You'd be better off with the unspoken understanding that there was a quid pro quo rather than actually writing one down and recording it. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know, like, if If Elon Musk like named a Tesla the Donald Trump after being pardoned for shooting hookers into space or whatever, like there probably wouldn't be an agreement that he would name a Tesla the Donald Trump, the Model Trump or whatever. There would probably it would just happen. That's how it would go. Let's see. Bjorn Roman says, "Hey Nick, I got pulled over today and messed up bad. I admitted that I was speeding the cop. Never do it. I'm 20. It was the first time I ever got pulled over. What's the percentage chance that I can get it scrubbed from my record if I don't plea?" If you don't plea, probably not getting scrubbed from your record. Just go in and talk to the prosecutor, man. I don't know what state you're in, but just go in and talk to the prosecutor. See if you can plea it down to an alternative thing so it doesn't stick on your record, or get a stay of adjudication. I don't know what state you're in. If you're in Minnesota, what you would do is you would plead to a stay of adjudication where, you know, if for 1 year period you don't get any more speeding tickets, it'll just fall off your record. Or you could plead to something like a public nuisance instead. Those would be the sort of alternatives that we would offer in Minnesota. You'd have to check with your state though. But go in and talk to the prosecutor. If he doesn't give you good answers, talk to a traffic attorney and just say, "Hey, is there any way you can keep this off my record? It'll cost you, you know, $150, $200, something like that, in addition to whatever penalty you'll have to pay, but it could be worth it in the long run." Bald Eagle 1787 says, "Nick, you're making me want to go Minecraft Illegal Eagles channel. I'll then ask Trump for a pardon and make this soy-infused beta put my pardon on his channel." Yeah. And yes, we'll talk about Apollo Legend in a minute.
Those explicit agreements are out there. It's possible that the agreement was memorialized and that emails or documents will leak, that the attorney-client privilege will be violated because of the crime fraud exception.
Which attorney? Which attorney-client privilege will be... The Blazing Gamer says, "Hey Nick, is it me or those books in a weird perspective? If they really are fake, then you get the flex with all the 40K books behind you. I had to take an extra hit just to make it through this video." Man, yeah. There are many allegations that Devin is sitting in front of a green screen and that entire background is fake. He has a new background coming though, so it's okay. He's got a new office with new books in the background.
And someone might talk after Trump can't actually pardon people anymore. If there is an actual clear quid pro quo between President Trump or other members of his administration and the granting of a pardon, it could conceivably give rise to independent criminality and potential punishment.
He had to drive to fucking Bolivia in a jalopy to get to there. I mean, oh my God. If this happens, then this happens, then this happens, then this happens, it could potentially give rise to a possible criminal prosecution. Oh my God. Yeah, a lot could potentially give rise to a possible criminal prosecution.
That's a big if.
It's the biggest
But
if.
hopefully this ends the discussion about future prosecutions, or at least future investigations. Past pardons have led to congressional investigations, and this one absolutely needs investigations, if not outright prosecutions. And
Nope, it really doesn't.
if not prosecutions on a federal level, then prosecutions on a state law level.
For what?
And hopefully this represents the
What state law, Devin? What state law are you going to prosecute a president for in a pardon scheme? Which state and which law are you going to prosecute a president for issuing a pardon for a federal crime? Which one? I would like to know what your theory, what your legal theory is for the state prosecutions of federal pardons from a sitting president. Fucking idiot. Blackwing02 says, thank you for reminding me why I no longer follow this clown. It was very difficult to stay my anger and not throw my phone out the window as I drove home from work and listened to his terrible legal opinions.
Absolute zenith of presidential power. At the moment, the president has never been more powerful. The president receives almost unchecked power with respect to executive power and executive privilege. But these actions...
What? Does anyone listen to this guy? He didn't say anything in those sentences. Like, hopefully this is the zenith of presidential power. The president receives practically unchecked presidential privilege and power. What? Do you mean a sitting president in a lame duck term? Like, is that what you're talking about when impeachment isn't really a viable option because he's going to go away and he's exercising plenary authority under the pardon power? So therefore there's no real, the only real check is basically ineffectual because he's going to be out the door. So therefore there is no check on it. Is that what you mean? Because it's not what you said, but it's the only thing that makes sense. Bad Vibe says, hey, Devin, if you had a personality, you might be too busy getting laid than making TDS videos lying about the power of the pardon.
Are so far beyond the pale.
Beyond the pale!
That I hope it forces the citizens and members of Congress to actually act.
There's no act. There's nothing to do. Again, you can amend the Constitution. You can remove the pardon power from the president. That's literally it. But it won't affect Trump. Devin, there's nothing you can do. These pardons will be fine forever. They're the best pardons. Really tremendous pardons. We worked really hard on these pardons. I have a great team. Fantastic team, wonderful people, really terrific, talented people, reviewing every pardon that comes forward, even yours. Yep, even yours, Paul. I know. We were reviewing these pardons. We're looking at the pardons. Really, the doctors are telling me that pardons, I'm great at them. They don't know why. They're taking DNA samples, looking for why I pardon better than other people. But pardons are coming. Pardons are coming. I can tell you right now that many pardons, best pardons, more pardons than any other president are probably on the way. If not more pardons, then certainly better pardons. And those pardons are going to last a premium amount of time, probably as long as you live. There's nothing that's going to happen.
To actually put some real checks and balances and to scale back some of the power that has been granted from Congress to the presidency.
The power of the pardon was not granted from Congress to the presidency. That has nothing to do with this. It's a constitutional power that was there from the start, and they got it from the monarchy. They went, what can monarchs do? I guess monarchs can keep people out of prison. Presidents should be able to do that too. Done. That's where they got it. There is no grant of authority from Congress. Congress has fuck all to say about it, to borrow the British term, since we're talking about monarchy anyway. It was an inherent power of the executives of the time in 1776 when they were drafting all this shit. It's not even a mystery as to how this stuff came about.
Make no mistake, this is a political Rubicon.
It is not a political Rubicon.
This is every bit as bad as it appears.
It is. Yes, that's correct. It doesn't appear bad at all.
In some ways, we're lucky that they've been so ham-fisted about this.
Yes. You know why they're ham-fisted? There's no reason not to be. There's literally nothing wrong with what has happened.
Because there's no hiding it. This isn't 4D chess.
You don't need to hide it. There is no chess. Devin, you're the one sitting at the chessboard wondering why Trump isn't even in the same state as you.
This is just plain cronyism and corruption.
Nope. Maybe cronyism, I guess, but the cronyism as in you help a friend out or whatever, or you do something for an ally, sure. Yes, again, something contemplated by the founders and built into the pardon power. The founders could have carved an exception out for allies of the president. They didn't. Why? Devin, you know or should know that the Supreme Court has stated very explicitly that nothing can be read into or out of the Constitution, that every single word, line, and phrase are contemplated and intentional, and reading in anything extra or reading out something that is there is not permissive.
And it's going to get worse before it gets better.
What's going to get worse?
Just don't let it wear you down. But Americans...
You've let it wear you down, Devin.
...did their part. And they voted overwhelmingly to send President Trump packing.
Yet again, this man... This is another problem I have with him. His channel is overtly political, especially during this election. Overtly political, but he presents it as if he's not. Oh, it's just Devin. It's not about red versus blue. Remember he said that the last time too, when he made an overtly political video, the last one we covered, it was so blatantly partisan, but he's like, this isn't about party or politics, this is about truth. Ugh! Eat glass.
We could be looking down the barrel of 4 more years of this, but luckily he will be leaving office.
And just because of that, because he said that, that is why I want Trump to somehow pull off a victory. That, I don't think it's going to happen, but that makes me really wish it would. Like, if nothing else, I want to see Devin just eating bottles of Xanax, trying to figure out how Trump is still won and is going to be in office till 2024. God, that would be the funniest thing.
But there's one last thing to do, which is that we must demand of the future administrations that they not let these pardons go unchecked, that they cannot allow this criminality to go unchecked.
He's advocating political prosecutions.
We assume that the president's pardon power is near universal.
It is.
But so much of this is debating how many angels can dance on the head of a pin.
Nope.
Presidential pardons have rarely been challenged.
You know why it's rare? Devin, do you want to tell him why it's rare? Because the court said, what the fuck are we going to do? That's why it's rare, Devin. The court's like, it's plenary authority of the president to pardon. It's pretty much unquestionable. What do you want us to do? We're not going to get involved in this. That's why it's rare.
We don't know what the Supreme Court would have said if the forward pardon of Nixon had been challenged, or the...
We can pretty accurately guess based on just about everything the Supreme Court has said with regards to plenary authority. Oh my God. Overwhelmingly, the court has refused to step in on plenary authority.
The Iran-Contra pardons had been challenged. And we don't know what a Supreme Court would...
Wait, are these controversial? Are these controversial pardons that he just left out earlier when he was talking? What? Oh, okay.
Do with these current raft of pardons. And we don't know all of the information about these particular pardons. Was there an explicit quid pro quo? Is there independent criminality about these particular pardons? The American people have a right to know that particular information.
Do they? They have a right to know that particular information? Here's the thing. They do know. The answer is no until it's yes. That's it. What investigation are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're going to spend... Remember, these motherfuckers have spent 4 years of the country's time on a fake scandal about Russia. On a known fake scandal about Russia created by a fake asset purchased from a foreign agent by a political rival. Is he proposing the same thing? Now, with regards to the pardons, you're going to investigate all these pardons?
Which is why we must demand that the next administration, either through the Attorney General or a special prosecutor, investigate the issuance of these pardons.
I know what I want my tax dollars spent on.
Investigate the underlying criminality itself. If there is remaining criminality out there, charge them, indict them. Test the sufficiency of the pardon. Test the breadth of the pardons.
The sufficiency and breadth of the pardon is that the president has the power to pardon. And we don't want it to be different. We really don't want a check on the pardon power. That's not the purpose of it. That's not the purpose of it.
And let's see what the Supreme Court has to say. And if the Supreme Court upholds the use...
If the Supreme Court challenges the president's ability to pardon, the president should arrest the Supreme Court. Because it'd be the same thing.
Of these pardons, then so be it. We can demand a constitutional amendment or other congressional means to put limits on this power. Because that's what Americans deserve. We fought a war to throw off the rule of a king, and these pardons come as close as Americans ever have.
We did not fight a war to throw off the rule of a king. We fought a war to throw off the rule of the king. The King of England. In 1776, that war. That's the king that we fought to get rid of. And then what we did was we instituted a new king who would change every 4 years. And for some reason, we have forgotten that that's what we actually have. And I will remind you with the first line of Section 2 of the U.S. Constitution, or Article 2, the executive power shall be vested in a president of the United States. The first line of Article 1 is different. Here we go. Oh, wait, no, I have it right here. Listen to the difference in Article 1. This is actually important. All legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States, okay? They define the legislative powers and then grant them to a Congress. But in Article 2, the executive power shall be vested in a president of the United States of America. Contemporary executive power to 1776 is what is contemplated by the power of the president. It is a king who is otherwise restrained. Congress is a creation that is otherwise empowered by the Constitution. These are critical language differences between Article 1 and Article 2. And they absolutely matter. That difference in language matters. X Morbid Rain X says, Nikki, I know you're busy, but I need an update on our boy Vic Mignogna. Got anything? Yes, I have an update on Vic Mignogna. He has a Twitch channel. It's twitch.tv/Real Vic Mignogna. He releases videos with frequency on Twitch. He has live streams. You can call in and talk to him on them. Go check him out on Twitch. As for legal updates, no. As soon as there is one, I will tell you.
To reverting back to tyranny. Because as bad as these pardons are, next time will be worse.
Oh, he literally just said that Joe Biden will be worse than Trump. He literally just said, because guess what? Joe Biden will use the power of the pardon. He will. But Legal Eagle has already said that Joe Biden unequivocally will be worse than Donald Trump. Thank you, Legal Eagle, for that very helpful, very helpful analysis. Oh my God. Okay. Okay, let me we have to talk about Melinda Scott still. Oh my God. We have to talk about Melinda Scott. Let me get a, let me get this pulled over. Melinda Scott has filed several things, and I'm probably going to have to cover this in another video as well, because that Devin thing took longer than I thought it would. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm too dumb to figure out, like, how long these things will take. I should know. I should know that I'm going to be pissed off at Devin. It's going to take forever to get through his stupid video. But I'm going to show you Melinda's documents, and we'll start going through the one that matters. Shadows King 101. No, I will not stop pausing every second. The point is to comment about just about every stupid thing that Devin says. And that, unfortunately, requires pausing every second. I do need to mention this. Apparently, popular speedrunner and streamer Apollo Legend has taken his own life, I guess. That is sad news. Apollo Legend was covered on this channel. I've never spoken to him. I reached out to him a long time ago to ask about his lawsuit with Billy Mitchell. He never responded to me. He probably didn't see it. There's nothing to be read into that. But I have received word that Apollo Legend is no longer alive. He had put out a video earlier today. The video was like 40 seconds of just blank and silent. However, in the description of the video, he had what appeared to be a suicide note, and he does appear to have deceased. And I'm assuming the reason is taking his own life based on the circumstances. I guess I don't know for sure, but that is what is being reported to me. And you'll probably see that as well, which is it is awful. It is sad. I don't know the guy. I don't care about his content. The only thing I know was he had made a video exposing Billy Mitchell. I use exposing in quotes because he took that down, retracted the video, and transferred ownership of it to Billy Mitchell as part of a settlement agreement in response to a lawsuit that Billy Mitchell had filed against him. So I don't know him or have any specific connection to him, but it's just he seemed to have some troubles going on with his personal life. He deleted like a year of videos. He hasn't uploaded anything in a long time, and then to come out with this was posted on his Apollo Live channel, by the way, not on his Apollo Legend channel, and I believe it's still up for now. But just a brief word about that. Suicide is something that is, it's a real problem in the country. It's as people go through various things. We have no idea. I have no idea what led him to it, right? All I know is that people dealing with suicide and struggling with things like depression are suffering real, legitimate, and often inconsolable pain. To anybody out there who is dealing with those sorts of things, those sorts of thoughts, please, please, please reach out to somebody. Talk to somebody. Talk to me if you have to. And I'm not qualified to help you in any way. I'd only be able to help you write your will, which would be rather fucking morbid. I'm not qualified to help you, but I know people you can talk to. I do. I will connect you with them, and I'll listen. And someone else will too. Someone else will too. The pain you leave behind is you're going through pain right now. You're going to transfer that pain to other people. And I know people who are in that spot and who are dealing with those emotions, they don't really want to hurt other people, but you do. You do. So instead of doing that, find a way to get help. There are people who will listen. I know people who will listen, and I will point you to resources for that. And to Apollo Legend, I don't know you, buddy. You seem like an okay guy from what I've heard. And peace to you, man. All right. Bad Vibe says the power of the pardon is actually to limit judicial and political abuse. If brains were gasoline, he would have enough to get an ant's go-kart around a Cheerio once. That's referring to Legal Eagle. There you go. All right. On that note, let's take a look at Melinda Scott. And let's try to keep the suicide jokes to a minimum tonight. Okay. So, here, Melinda Scott came on this show when I was criticizing the lawsuit, making fun of it, having a good time. She came on, and we had a very nice chat. A very nice chat where she doubted the fact that I would have 5 children and did everything short of calling me a horrific misogynist, which is fine. She has no reason to think highly of me. I certainly don't think highly of her, but we had a good chat and I enjoyed it, and I would talk to her again anytime Melinda wants to talk to me about her weird lawsuit fetishes. I'm happy to. I for one support fetish, that fetish life, and if your fetish is dropping a bunch of frivolous lawsuits, you go, girl. Whatever flicks the bean. So and when I say that, I mean that entirely in jest. And please stop filing lawsuits against people. It's getting a bit old. Okay. Here is, but anyway, she accused me of being biased, which I am. Her lawsuit is bad. Her reasoning is terrible. She's abusing the court process in a way that is offensive to me. And it's not because she's a pro se litigant. It's because she's a garbage litigant. There's a big difference. Lots of pro se litigants have done lots of really good things. Garbage litigants have never accomplished anything at all. That's the big difference, and she has not and will not accomplish anything here. So, but she accused me of being biased because I didn't and quote unquote wouldn't read her documents online. But of course I will. They just weren't actually up there in any meaningful way. Part of that reason is she mails her documents in rather than e-filing them. She asked for an order for permission to e-file. The judge said no. But the judge did say that the clerks were ordered to stop scanning her envelopes. But she said that the scanning of the envelopes put her at risk. Now, I'm confused about this. I was pretty sure that on Pacer, you can just sign up for a non-attorney Pacer account and e-file that way. But, I don't actually know. I am an attorney and would just sign up and e-file. So, they do have a section about signing up as a non-attorney. So maybe, I don't know what she's doing. But that's me. So let's go through the documents and we'll take a look at the last one. Random Blaze says, sent a link on Twitter about the Georgia runoffs. Poll pad, the system for the Dominion voting machines was actively hacked while the election was going on, and the evidence of such was presented at the hearing. Random Blaze, thank you for that. But if you will take note of my third video I did today, I actually discussed that, and I discussed the Senate subcommittee in Georgia. The Georgia Senate subcommittee on elections has voted for a full forensic audit of the Fulton County absentee ballots. Now, that has to go up to the greater Georgia Senate for approval, and then they have to actually get the ballots from the Secretary of State of Georgia, who is Brad Raffensperger, the timid, and I don't know that they'll be able to do that. But you can check out that video. I actually covered that news story And again, if you're into the political stuff, I'm putting out 2 to 3 political news videos a day. They're short, quick hits on trending topics, and they are hopefully going to drive me to 100,000 subs within the next week or so. But yeah, check it out. But thank you very much for letting me know, and I really do appreciate that. Okay, so these are all the documents that Melinda has filed, and they are doozies. Motion for extension of time to serve summons on Jane Doe 1 and John Doe's 1 through 3. So she is requesting with good cause pursuant to Rule 4M for an extension of time to serve these guys. Plaintiff requested for immediate leave to serve discovery upon defendant Moon in her complaint. Melinda, you don't need leave to serve discovery unless there's something preventing discovery like a TCPA style, but you're in Fed court, so you don't have that. You could just serve discovery upon defendant Moon. The problem is you're not serving it. You didn't serve him with discovery requests because you didn't serve him with a complaint that your discovery requests were apparently in. So that's the issue that you faced. You didn't serve him properly at all. This court ordered that plaintiff could proceed with discovery on November 3rd. It did not. Court did not order that you could proceed with discovery. The court said that it has no business telling you whether you could or could not proceed with discovery. So then Jane Doe 1 and John Doe 1, 2, and 3 have no public address and have been evasive in providing any to the plaintiff. They have no duty to provide you a public address. You do not have any duty to assist a plaintiff in suing you. That's an amazing thing about our justice system, is the plaintiff who wants to bring suit has to figure out how to do it. Plaintiff has made diligent attempts to find their identifiable information in order to serve them. Plaintiff qualifies for an extension of time pursuant to the standards of the 4th District Court as outlined in the accompanying memorandum of law, which she has right here. This is a 3-page memorandum where there is an evasive defendant, where the plaintiff has been diligent in locating an address, which is the defendant actually evasive? An evasive defendant is someone who is evading service, not someone that you can't find the information for. There's a big, big difference. Melinda. See. And effectuating service of the summons and complaint, the legal standard in the 4th District is to permit the plaintiff more time in filing the service of process under Rule 4M. And I mean, maybe she does get more time. The real problem here is that Melinda has not identified John or Jane Doe. Like, she's named John and Jane Does, but she hasn't concretely identified them. So I'm not quite sure. The court could extend time, I guess. So the risk of this is when you file a lawsuit in federal court, what you do is you file it and then you do service. In Minnesota, it's a little different. In Minnesota, you serve the documents on the other party and then you file it if you're going to go into court. It's the opposite system of Fed court. In Fed court, you serve, then you request the summons to be issued to the parties. You issue the summons, you serve the summons, and then you file your proof of service and all that, and then things get going. In Minnesota, like I said, you serve the party first, and you only file if you guys are going to proceed past whatever sort of thing happens. Now, I believe the rule, without looking, I believe the rule is 90 days. You have 90 days from the filing to show proof of service, and Melinda is coming up on those 90 days for the John and Jane Does, so she is filing this thing. I think, I don't know that this is actually necessary in any sort of way. Of course, this entire lawsuit is frivolous and pointless, and if Melinda has complaints against these people, then she needs to find out who they are on her own, and then, serve them actual documents. But if her complaint is that Joshua Moon is responsible for these people, then this entire thing is frivolous and nonsensical. Okay. When this court permitted her by court order to proceed with discovery on November 3rd, she immediately acted and served upon Defendant Moon a request for production of documents on November 4th. Did you serve it upon him, really? Actually, I don't know that she did. Let's see, November 4th. There's not a filing on November 4th. So whatever she served upon Josh, I'd be curious if he even got service of anything. She's just saying that she served him. There's no proof of service that's filed that I can see. Bad Vibe says, wait, is Melinda admitting that she is attempting to dox? Gasp. Plaintiff Scott has had to file motions to compel discovery. No, you actually haven't. You won a default judgment, so you didn't need discovery. 2, you won a default judgment because Josh didn't respond. Josh didn't respond because you didn't serve him properly. And the default judgment should have been caught by the judge, and the judge should have ignored it. Should have been. But he took your bogus representation of service. He took that and decided that that was acceptable. Probably because he's tired of reading your bullshit. Okay, so anyway, she has this thing that says, good cause. The delay in service was outside the plaintiff's control. It's not. The defendant was evasive. The defendants are not evasive. The defendants are just simply not proactively giving Melinda their address or identifying information. Plaintiff acted diligently or made reasonable efforts. I don't know that she's done that. The plaintiff is pro se or in forma pauperis. The defendant will be prejudiced, or the plaintiff asks for an extension under the time under Rule 6B. I think these defendants would be prejudiced. She should have waited to file this until she got more information against them. She shouldn't have named does. She should have added them for parties after finding out their identities. But that's me. Anyway, we're not going to go through all of this. So then we've got her second motion to compel production from defendant Joshua Moon. And again, we're not going to read through all of these documents. I'm going to go into a specific document that I have in a minute. But again, this court previously granted the plaintiff leave to refile a motion to compel. This court ruled to deny plaintiff's first motion to compel on the grounds that she did not identify the discovery request to which the defendant has failed to respond. Plaintiff brings this revised motion to compel with accompanying memorandum before the court for ruling. So I'm going to skip the background. I want to see what she has requested from Josh Moon. That's what we're looking at. Oh, by the way, guys, like the stream, please. We're almost to 1,000 likes. Your likes and comments really do help. Also, if you make comments after the video, just drop a comment on the stream and say, hey, this was a fun stream. Also, you're a pile of garbage or whatever. Go ahead and do that. That really helps as well with the live streams that YouTube hates. So, oh, there's 1,000 likes. So I will take a sip. By sip, I mean I'll just finish this up. That's good stuff. All right. Thank you, guys. Very appreciative. Very appreciative. Okay, let's take a look at what she asked for. Now, she has a weird scheme going with the lettering. She has section 1, and then she has A and B. She has section 2, and then she has C. Melinda, this is not me being cruel. When you break into a separate section, denoted by a new Roman numeral, you redo your subnumbering or sublettering technique. So in this case, C would be A, but it'd be 2A. Doesn't make sense to have 2 sections C because you don't have 2 sections, subsections A and B. Friendly tip. Just go ahead and redo this. What am I drinking? That was Jefferson's Ocean aged at sea. Cask strength. A lot of fire, a lot of salt. Good stuff. Good stuff. Spectre, no, go ahead. If you want to shill. Spectre is going to shill Apollo Legends GoFundMe for his funeral costs. I don't know how he has his own GoFundMe for a few. I'm just kidding. Making a joke. If you guys, if you guys are fans of Apollo Legend or whatever, feel free to go support that if you want. Again, it's a shitty thing. Suicide is nasty. Depression is one of the forces I hate more than just about anything on earth. And I don't even really suffer from it. I have seasonal affective or whatever, and go through something close to depression every December, and then I get over it. I know people trapped in depression don't. And my little brushes with it are, I don't wish that on anybody. Okay, so in her complaint, plaintiff named defendant Moon not only as a defendant, but also as someone who had relevant information regarding other defendants. Plaintiff described in her complaint that Joshua Moon is the business owner of a website called kiwifarms.net. In the request for production of documents, plaintiff defined pertinent terms under a section labeled definitions, and also gave delivery instructions to defendant Moon under a section labeled instructions. In the instructions component, plaintiff requested tangible paper copy documents of electronically stored information. Plaintiff Scott requested that defendant Moon send her tangible pieces of paper with the information through postal mail and document-styled files through email. Okay, good job. Yeah, Josh, you should definitely mail her a bunch of shit. That would be great. Plaintiff Scott requested the following from defendant Moon, pursuant and permissible according to Rule 26B1. Relevant information about Jane Doe 1, John Doe 1, 2, and 3 that is pertinent to the claims of Plaintiff Scott and necessary to serve those same defendants. The discovery request included the following relevant requests for all previously listed defendants. Now, interestingly, I don't know that Josh Moon owns any of this stuff. I don't know what his lawyer is going to do in response to this, but I would argue that Josh Moon doesn't own this at all. That kiwifarms.net owns this. This information, like, Joshua Moon does not own the data from kiwifarms.net because I believe it is owned by an LLC. Someone might correct me on that, but I'm pretty sure Kiwi Farms is owned by, what is it, Lolcow Productions LLC, something like that. So I would suggest that he doesn't own that, but that's me. The date of sign up to kiwifarms.net, their email addresses used for login, any and all email addresses used by these profiles since the date of their sign up, any and all IP addresses used by these profiles since the date of their sign up, any and all alternate kiwifarms.net profiles created with their emails, any fictional names or aliases used by their profiles, any telephone numbers associated with their profiles, any of their records of volunteer service or employment by kiwifarms.net. Oh, excuse me. Their city, state, and county of residence information, their date of birth, any communications defendant Moon has had with these profiles. Why do you need to determine if any of these profiles are minors? No excusable reason for delay. These items requested are important to discovery in order to resolve the issues surrounding the case and to serve defendants. Defendant has withheld all of this information to prevent the plaintiff from serving other defendants. That's conclusory. Defendant Moon has each of these items in his possession. That's conclusory. It is easy for him to access the information. That's conclusory. Financial costs of supplying these requested documents will not be burdensome to Defendant Moon. That's conclusory. He is running a fundraising campaign on his website to pay for his legal fees. An article published on kiwifarms.net entitled "Regarding a Lawsuit from an Insane Woman" with woman referring to the plaintiff, in which defendant is running a fundraising campaign for his legal fees. Imagine having to write that in your document. Oh, God. Joshua Moon says there are now civil court problems, but they will be dealt with and the community will help. Emphasis added. Here we go, guys. See if I can get... I'm going to... wonder if I can copy and paste this. This is the Kiwi Farms article. Oh, I can. If you want to go check that Kiwi Farms article out, you can. And then you can follow the fundraising if you want to do that. You can throw money to towards that. Let's see. There is reason to believe many of his users are paying for his legal fees. Plaintiff Scott sent defendant Moon a notice on April 2nd that he did not have her permission to use her name and photo for his business. From this issue alone, appropriation. Melinda, that's not appropriation. Melinda, no. No. Melinda, appropriation is the use of your right of publicity, not your freedom from being ridiculed. For appropriation of your image and name and likeness, Josh would have to suggest that you were endorsing and supporting Kiwi Farms. And it would have to not be a joke. People would have to rely on that information and have confusion about whether or not you were an active supporter and proponent of the Kiwi Farms. Which you could plausibly argue because, you know, you've got an account there. I don't, but you do. But if that were the case, if you were advertising Kiwi Farms with your likeness and saying Melinda Scott, the Mountain Jew approves with her mystical Kabbalah powers, that would be something different. He hasn't done that, though. He's calling you an insane woman. Not appropriation. Stems the case at hand. IIED. Had Mr. Moon respected Miss Scott's request to remove her name and photo, the resulting case against him would not have ensued. No! Melinda, no! Why would you do that? Oh, fuck's sake. Melinda, you just told the court. You just told the court that you brought this lawsuit to chill or silence speech. Why? Why would you do this? Why you do this? Like, I know you're doing this. We all know you're doing this, but don't tell the court you're doing it. Your only hope is that the judge will get tired of reading your bullshit footnote and quit before he gets there. Plaintiff Scott has until December 31st, 2020 to respond to the motion to dismiss, and her response is forthcoming in the following week. Oh, great. Damn it. Plaintiff asserts this court does not need to adjudicate the motion to dismiss in order for the revised motion to compel to be addressed. The standing order for entry of default and a standing entry of default. Plaintiff does not need to defend whether or not she has stated a claim at this point in time because this court already ordered that after a review of the record, the complaint qualified for a default judgment. Oh, yeah, but that's contested now, sweetie. That's very much contested now because it's kind of looks like your service was lacking. Even if defendant would present a meritorious defense in the motion to dismiss, the defendant has no explanation for losing the summons and complaint. The explanation is not that he lost it, it's that he never got it. You didn't prove that you got it to him. You prove that you gave it to a UPS employee. Under the standard of the 4th District outlined in Payne Corp and Colleton Preparatory Academy, a defendant who cannot explain how they lost a summons and complaint does not qualify to set aside the entry of default. You haven't shown that he got the summons and complaint. You said that summons and complaint went to some employee at a business that purportedly would forward a document to another service that he could pay to receive. You have no duty to pay to be served. Like, Melinda, if you gave your summons and complaint to a courier, and that courier drove across the country to my house and said, here, Mr. Ikeda, I need to serve this upon you, but I need $100 for you to take it, I would go, sorry, fam, I don't have $100 for you. I'm miraculously broke now, today. I'll give you $50 to leave. And then I wouldn't accept service because I don't have to do that. I don't have to pay to accept service. You have to pay someone to give me service. That's what has to happen. Defendant's motion to set aside default is an insufficient defense as a matter of law. Oh, really? Here we go. Upon testing the sufficiency of a motion to set aside default, even if and when the plaintiff would later respond to the meritorious defenses component to the motion to dismiss, the defendant has not met the other components necessary to relieve him of the default entered. The defendant has to demonstrate all 5 of the requirements to set aside default. 1, a possible meritorious defense, promptness of the defaulting party, the personal responsibility of the defaulting party, the prejudice to the other party, and whether there is history of dilatory action. As of this date, Defendant Moon has given no justifiable reason his employees did not hand over the summons and complaint to him. They're not his employees! Oh, Christ. Melinda, why do you just lie for fun? Like, does that get you off? This component alone is enough to deny the motion to set aside default. Defendant cannot demonstrate he had a valid reason or excusable neglect under Rule 60B for being relieved of the entry of default order. It's not his employee. That's a UPS employee. That's a mailbox employee. Joshua Moon does not employ this man or woman or child or whatever it was. Fuck's sake. Oh! The cancer AIDS. Defendant has been properly served the first request for production of documents at his business address according to Rule 5B2C. Let's look at this real quick. Fed rules if pro. Let's look at Rule 5. (5B2C). Serving numerous defendants. No, wait, 5B2C. Mailing it to the person's last known address, in which event service is complete upon mailing. That's, let's see. A paper is served under this rule by mailing it to the person's last known address, in which event service is complete upon mailing. The UPS store is not his last known address, and it wasn't mailed. It was hand delivered. It was hand delivered. Here's the thing. We've got to go to let's see, is this where is it? Where'd it go? Oh, this is for commencing an action. You still haven't actually served the summons. Serving and filing pleadings and other papers. Still haven't served the summons. But the other papers, I guess, mailing it to last known address. Maybe she did mail this one. I don't actually know if she mailed this one to last known address. The proof of service was of the summons. So, what is his last known address? In which event the service is complete upon mailing. But his last known address, I don't think is actually in where she mailed it. I think his last known address is where he is currently, which is overseas. I don't think that's actually happened. I would certainly make the argument that it hasn't. Personally, if I were his attorney, which I'm not. Meshikihari Roo says, got my hands on a bottle of Whistle Pig recently per your recommendation. 6-year aged. Not drinking tonight after work. It is quite good. Thank you for the entertainment you provide. Love you, bro. Stay blessed. Hey, you too. You too. Thank you for not killing yourself. I'm very happy you enjoy the Whistle Pig. A 6-year. Is that the farm stock rye? I haven't had that one. Bad Vibe says, Melinda to court. I told Moon. Silencer. I sue you. Terrible. Jesus Christ. Okay. The summons cannot be invalidated solely upon the omission of a court name. Really? See footnote 3. Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just... Defendant has challenged the service of the summons because it did not have the court name in accordance with Rule 4A1A. However, the legal standard in the 4th District is to not invalidate service of the summons for technicalities. Quote, when there is actual notice, every technical violation of the rule or failure of strict compliance may not invalidate the service of process. There wasn't actual notice, though. You're missing that. You're missing that. There wasn't actual notice. Oh, God. Oh, the pro se litigants, man. Pro se litigant. Melinda, you should just merely request the court's permission to serve him via counsel. I know you won't listen. I know you won't listen. Just request it. Just ask. Fucking ask. Service was done in accordance with Rule 4E2, relevant Virginia statutes and Florida statutes. No, it was not. As of the date of this second motion to compel, there's a standing order permitting the plaintiff to engage in discovery. Nope. You don't need an order to engage in discovery. Defendant Moon's attempts to delay discovery by challenging service undermines this order. Nope. Defendant's attempt to create a controversy regarding service is simply a dilatory action. Nope. If he had some objection to discovery, he could have brought that objection back in November when the order was issued. No, he couldn't. He hadn't been served. He wasn't actually in the action. That's why you want a default judgment, is because you lied about him being served. Local Rule 11C2 requires that an extension of time request from an opposing party must state a good cause justifying the relief requested. They did that. Okay. Anyway, lack of response by Defendant Moon in communications with Defendant's counsel. After the 14-day period allowed by local rules of the Western District of Virginia, Defendant Moon did not respond in any manner to Plaintiff Scott as of December 7th. Plaintiff Scott attempted to confer with Defendant Moon via email regarding the request for production of documents prior to December 7th to avoid court action. Let's see. December 7th. Let's see. Where are we? On December 7th was when his attorney filed the motion to dismiss and the motion to alter judgment and the notice of appearance. That's interesting. Plaintiff Scott has also attempted to confer with defendant's counsel regarding the request for production, first motion to compel, and plaintiff's revised second motion to compel. Counsel for defendant and plaintiff Scott exchanged emails on December 18th, but could not come to a resolution. As of the date of this filing, Defendant Moon has not produced any of the above-mentioned items Plaintiff Scott has requested. And he shouldn't do that at all. He hasn't been properly served. He's still not even a party to the action. Okay. So then there's a memorandum of law in support of the plaintiff's motion to compel. Remember, this is just the motion to compel. Could have put all of that in this memorandum of law. We're not going to go through this. She's got a motion to quash and dismiss defendant's request to vacate the previous orders, and for the issuance of a protective order / stay / other relief. So this will be great. This will be great. Let's check this out. Useful mistake. I've got her response to the motion to dismiss. It's right here. But we are getting late. I may have to do it. I may have to do it tomorrow. Okay. So this is her. Yeah, we'll probably. That's what I'm planning on right now. As of right now, I'm planning on tomorrow. For the new year, we'll ring in with Melinda Scott's response to motion to dismiss. Let's focus on these other documents tonight. Motion to quash and dismiss defendant's request to vacate previous orders and for the issuance of a protective order / stay / other relief. Okay, Melinda, you just have to file an opposition to the motion to vacate previous orders. That's what you file. It's not a motion to quash and dismiss. It's just opposition to the motion. Comes now the plaintiff in response to defendant's motion for partial stay, protective order, and other relief, and his memorandum. Why is his emphasized with italics? And states in her defense as follows: defendant's motion is prejudicial to the plaintiff. There is a standing order permitting discovery. Court granted plaintiff permission to proceed with discovery on November 3rd, 2020. It didn't, though. Like, it didn't actually grant anything. It's number 17. Just a second. I've got it here. Kiwi Farms. Oh my gosh. Did I not grab that? God damn it. Just a second. I'll grab the order real quick. Here's that order. Okay. Let's read what the judge said. Plaintiff's motion to recuse is denied. The plaintiff states no proper grounds for recusal. Motion to join defendants is denied. The plaintiff does not explain the possible claims against any of the defendants sought to be joined and the relevancy of any such claims against the remaining defendants in the case. The defendant, Joshua Moon, appears to have been served with process on August 21st, 2020. The docket shows no pleading or appearance on behalf of said defendant. If the plaintiff desires to obtain a default judgment against Joshua Moon, pursuant to Rule 55A of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, she must so advise the clerk within 14 days of this date. Wait. In the event that a default is entered, the plaintiff may move for a default judgment pursuant to Rule 55B. Plaintiff does not need the permission of the court to engage in immediate discovery. She should proceed forthwith with all discovery that she intends to engage in. This is not an order. Like, look at what's going on. Melinda, there's not a standing order permitting discovery. You just have the rules surrounding discovery. The Federal Rules of Civil Procedure about discovery are that's what's permitting discovery. The court did not grant plaintiff permission to proceed with discovery. You already had permission to proceed with discovery. Court granted this plaintiff leave to refile her motion to compel on Thursday, December 17th. Plaintiff has revised her prior motion to compel and attached an accompanying brief to refile it with the court. It is prejudicial to the plaintiff not to enforce the orders. As of the filing of this motion, there is a standing order of default and defendant is not entitled to bring defense at this time. The defendant's motion to set aside is insufficient as a matter of law. And then she has the biggest fucking footnote I've ever seen. And defendant motion to dismiss as a defense is currently barred by the order of default. No. Let's read these footnotes. Defendant's objection to service and the default fail on a number of grounds. A. Summons cannot be invalidated solely upon the omission of the court name. Quote, when there is actual notice, every technical violation of the rule or failure of strict compliance may not invalidate the service of process. Like every technical violation may not. This is permissive language, Melinda. They might. Any violation might, but every violation might not. B, there's a specific rule. It's not a technical violation. You don't have the court listed at all. Anyway, B, upon testing the sufficiency of the motion to set aside default, even when the plaintiff would later respond to the meritorious defenses component of the motion to dismiss, defendant has not met the other components necessary to relieve him of default entered. Defendant has to demonstrate all 5 of the requirements to set aside the default. 1, possible meritorious defense is very good. 2, promptness of the defaulting party. He met that easily by promptly filing. By the way, prompt filing of against a default judgment is within a year. A year is prompt. 3, the personal responsibility of the defaulting party. He has none. No responsibility in why he defaulted. He was not served. 4, the prejudice to the other party. There is no prejudice. You didn't serve him. You can't be prejudiced by him. 5, whether there is a history of dilatory action. There isn't. This component alone is enough to deny the motion to set aside default. As of this date, defendant Moon is given no justifiable reason for how he lost the summons and complaint. Under the legal standards of the 4th District, if a defendant cannot explain how they lost the summons and complaint, they're not entitled to relief of the default. I feel like I said this before, but you have to show that he got the summons and complaint, and then he would have to allege losing it. He hasn't alleged losing it. He alleged not receiving it. Those are very, very different things. C, defendant cannot demonstrate he had a valid reason of excusable neglect under Rule 60B for being relieved of any order. And then her other footnote is, this is not plaintiff's full reply to defendant's motion to dismiss. Plaintiff's full response to defendant's motion to dismiss will be filed before the December 31st deadline, which we do have. We do have it. As of the filing of this motion... Oh, wait, we read that. If defendant is concerned, about the other issues that they present in their motion to dismiss, the proper remedy is to appeal the case, not attack plaintiff's right to file. No, fucking wrong. God, oh no! There isn't a final order for appeal. There isn't an appealable final order. Okay. Here is an exhibit that she submitted. This is an email from randomax@cock.lee. This is to her, Melinda Scott. We've already heard this massive bullshit. You call the lawyer. Yeah. The FBI can't do shit to us. Joshua Moon is fucking above them and will never remove your details from there. He's never been arrested and always wins. I'll personally ask the farmers to farm your family's details. Remember, as far as it's public, it's legal. We can dox you and your family as much as we want. Call the FBI and they'll laugh at you. Link to the thread. Check this out. You've been doxed. Your address is out there for everyone to use and exploit. And if you have kids, we'll dox them too. We've already published the kids' pictures and details here and on lolcow.farm. Do you think you'll ever be able to stop us? Have you checked that website too? You and your family might end up there soon. Go ahead. Tell the FBI we dox people. They'll laugh at you. They never do anything. Loser! All right, this is a little bit hyperbolic from the from this person. So, okay. This is in response to Melinda saying, I don't know who this is, but let me make one thing very clear to you. I always win. No, you don't, Melinda. You have gotten absolutely wrecked over and over and over again. What your uneducated, ignorant brain doesn't understand is the appeals process. I've already got a legal suit typed up ready to slam your ass as far as a jail cell. FYI, I'm not stupid enough to open your link, but I'll be sure to report you to the FBI. I've got their personal emails. My dad works for Nintendo. Good luck coming up with a legal justification for your actions. This is your only and final notice. Do not contact me again or the police will be called and a restraining order will be filed against you. And this is responding, of course, to this email eloquently stated from, again, randomax@cock.lee. You fucking dickhead. You really think you would take down your shit? I'm an admin and I assure you your shit's gonna stay there public forever. You can rot. We've published your personal information, address, email, and we are farming you. You've been doxxed, little bitch. No one's gonna stop us. No one! You can call the FBI. They've already tried. They won't do anything. Fuck you! Come on, come one. Sue us. We are fucking untouchable. Now your personal info are on the internet available to anyone. Look. Both of these, all these emails are embarrassing. But I love it. I love it. So here we have the plaintiff's reply to defendant's combined memorandum. Oh my God. Is that different than this thing? This is the plaintiff's response to defendant's motion to dismiss. Okay, we'll look at the reply to the combined memorandum. This is only 15 pages. Oh my God. Let's see. Defendant by counsel presents additional allegations, defenses, and claims in response to plaintiff's motion to strike. Wait, who wrote this? This is Melinda Scott. Okay. Defendants by counsel presents additional allegations, defendants, and claims in response to plaintiff's motion to strike. Additionally, defendant's combined memorandum asserts that plaintiff has not specified in her motion to strike which parts of her motion to strike address specifically the insufficient defenses, which parts are impertinent, which parts are immaterial content, and which parts are scandalous matters. Plaintiff replies to defendant's combined memorandum as follows. Okay. Utilizing a motion to strike in efforts to strike another motion under the standard rule 12F. Plaintiff asserts that a motion with accompanying memorandum can be addressed with a motion to strike under rule 12F for the following reasons. A motion is also a pleading generally. No. Black's Law Dictionary defines a pleading as a formal document in which a party to a legal proceeding sets forth or responds to allegations, claims, denials, or defenses. Mr. Moon's memorandum that accompanies his motion to set aside default and the motion to set aside default qualifies pleadings under this definition. Nope. In both those documents, defendant Moon sets forth allegations, claims, denials, and defenses. No. Pleadings are your complaint and then the answer. Those are your pleadings. Motions are motions. Responses are responses to motions. Philip Yao, why doesn't she just take the bar exam? Because she'd fucking fail. When a motion begins to set forth allegations, claims, denials, or defenses rather than just highlighting technical content and rules, it's no longer just a motion, it's also a pleading, generally speaking. Nope. You just need to file your opposition to the motion. Rule 7b2 and Rule 10 treats motions as pleadings. Rule 7b2 states that motions are included under Rule 10 form of pleading styling rules. Rule 7b2 states that, quote, the rules governing captions and other matters in form in pleadings apply to motions and other papers. That doesn't treat it as a pleading. God damn it. Ah! You're not a lawyer! And it's embarrassing! Ah! Problem is not that she's not a lawyer. The problem is that she asserts she knows better than lawyers. Rule 10 sets forth form of pleadings and makes no separate mention of motions separately. No, Rule 7b2 says that motions, form of motions, are treated the same as forms of pleadings. You have to caption them. I thought YouTube was against self-harm, and here I am engaging in it. Court granted discretion on motion to strike for several different types of documents not listed under Rule 7a. Legal standard in the 4th District for ruling on a motion to strike under Rule 12F for documents that are not listed under Rule 7a. Definition of pleadings is demonstrated in McLaughlin versus Copeland and Adolphe versus Option 1 Mortgage Corp. 4th District has created a breadth of opportunity for Rule 12F to be exercised on other forms of writing that may contain insufficient defenses, impertinent, immaterial, or scandalous statements. In McLaughlin, the court decided that although affidavits technically do not constitute pleadings, courts have permitted affidavits to be challenged by motions to strike because the federal rules provide no other means to contest their sufficiency. That's an affidavit. You contest the sufficiency of a motion by filing an opposition. In the same way, if the federal rules provide no other means to contest sufficiency of a motion to set aside default judgment, they do. It's just filing a fucking opposition to the motion, which contains content that is immaterial, impertinent, or scandalous, or insufficient defenses. None of those things are true. Court is granted in the same discretion here. In McLaughlin, the court ruled on a motion to strike against an appendix, affidavit, exhibit, and attachments. Yes, you can strike an appendix, affidavit, exhibit, and attachments because they're evidence. You can move to strike evidence that is insufficient. In Adolphe versus Option 1 Mortgage Corp., the court ruled on a motion to strike against a notice of interest. A fucking random document. You're attacking the sufficiency of the evidence. Here. Let's go to Rule 12. Let's go to Rule 12F. The court may strike from a pleading an insufficient defense or any redundant, immaterial, impertinent, or scandalous matter. Court may act on its own or on a motion made by a party either before responding to the pleading or if a response is not allowed within 21 days after being served with the pleading. These are pleadings. Let's see. Yeah. Form of motions and other papers. Motion. In general, a request for a court order must be made by motion. The motion must be in writing, state with particularity, state the relief sought. Okay. The rules governing captions and other matters in form and pleadings apply to motions and other papers. There you go. Pleadings. Only these pleadings are allowed. A complaint, an answer to a complaint, an answer to a counterclaim, an answer to a cross-claim, a third-party complaint, an answer to a third-party complaint, and if the court orders one, a reply to an answer. Only these pleadings are allowed. It's right there. It's in the fucking documents. What a pleading is. See if it says to the anything about motions here. Mithrin Emrys says, when is this Karen going to get tagged as a vexatious litigant under the courts to harass others? Boy, she really did show you, Nikki. This is just the most magnificent filing in the history of ever. She sure is smirt. Dude, I don't know if I can make it. This is really fucking frustrating. Number 2, this court should relax the definition of pleading. They're all defined in the rules. There are only a couple things that are pleadings. In order to prevent the plaintiff from being cast in a derogatory light in defendant's motion to set aside default memorandum. Defendant's goal of casting the plaintiff in a derogatory light is to create prejudice against the plaintiff. Former cast plaintiff. Cases the plaintiff has filed that were dismissed against defendant Moon, taken out of context and void of fuller details, are immaterial to this case. Not really. Defendant by counsel raises them as what he calls the backdrop in order to prejudice the opinion of this court against her with an illogical correlation argument. If those were dismissed, so should this be. That's not illogical, Melinda. That's very logical at this point. You are filing frivolous lawsuits over and over and over again and costing people money. You should be prevented from doing so. Of course, those are not the exact words that defendant by counsel chose. Defendant by counsel stated that this court should... Then why'd you put them in a quote? Don't quote... Guys, don't ever quote in a document unless it's a quote. Sam, the last direct stream is unlisted because I unlist live streams that take place on the media channel. But it's still there. Defendant by counsel stated this court should look at this case, quote, against this backdrop. These words being chosen, although devoid of factual context and fuller details, to create a false narrative about the plaintiff. No. There is no false narrative about the plaintiff in the fact that you're a vexatious litigant and you're absolutely awful for doing this. This was done to create prejudicial bias against the plaintiff and should not have been included in the motion to set aside a default judgment. Look, telling a judge that them reading something will make them prejudiced and biased is not, most of the time, not going to work, because the judge is going to go, that's not going to make me prejudiced and biased. I'll just ignore it. Combined memorandum similar. Defendant by counsel makes another attempt to insert impertinent material into his combined memorandum in the order to cast plaintiff in a derogatory light. In defendant's memorandum, defendant Moon by counsel falsely states that plaintiff Scott said that the Fourth Circuit's rulings were subjective. Defendant's counsel is creating a false narrative against the plaintiff in order to try to create bias against the plaintiff by attempting to pit her against the court as someone allegedly disrespectful and hostile to judges. You are. You asked the judge to recuse himself and said he was biased or incompetent. More accurately, what the plaintiff said in her motion to strike was that the defendant's claims of having a more meritorious defense were subjective. Defendant by counsel claims that plaintiff Scott castigated a judge for dismissing a case for not pleading every fact. Plaintiff Scott did not castigate any judge for that decision. She simply described what happened. Again, defendant by counsel is attempting to create a false narrative. These are not things that you take out. This is a waste of the court's time, and the court will know it. Prejudicial content and actions against the plaintiff. In addition to the defendant's counsel attempting to bias the court against the plaintiff by casting her in a derogatory light, defendant then denies any prejudice that the plaintiff may incur as a result of the motion to set aside default being granted. Yeah, there is no prejudice. You don't have a right to the judgment, so setting it aside can't prejudice you. Firstly, the defendant writes that the plaintiff has to state every single possible outcome that could possibly ever happen in the future should impertinent conduct be allowed to remain within documents on the docket. No legal precedent for this, and the defendant cites no case law for their claim. The plaintiff must show an outline of every possible scenario that could possibly unfold from prejudicial content within the motions and memorandums. Prejudice on its face should be stricken and discouraged. It's obvious at face value that it is inherently incorrect to allow prejudicial content to be in a legal document. You have to show how it's prejudicial. I don't think you have to show every way it's prejudicial, just any way. Secondly, the defendant again makes the assumption that plaintiff has to prove the defendant's liability. Yes! That's literally... Of course the plaintiff has to prove the defendant's liability. That's what court is. I'm fucking done, man. I'm done. I don't know how to... I don't know how to deal with that. Let's do the chats. Do the chats. Then we gotta... gotta wrap it up. I can't keep reading this right now. I don't know how to... The defendant makes the assumption that the plaintiff has to, quote, prove the defendant's liability. Yeah! That's what a plaintiff has to do. Okay. We're going to do chats and we're going to wrap up. Before anyone asks, no, I'm not going to do Twitch tonight. Cuz I've got to catch up on sleep. I've got to. Sorry. Yeah. I just can't. I can't do Twitch tonight. Ridgedale Brand says, Arthur Nix and Mitch Nemo, the authors of Reconstitute US to Form a More Perfect Union, stream on the Ridgedale Brand YouTube channel about politics and entertainment. Brought to you by Ridgedale Brand Olive Oil, because true love is elbow deep extra. Gross. Guys, check that out. Arthur and Mitch are very interesting guys. You know, they've written a pretty interesting book as well that I recommend people read, Reconstitute US to Form a More Perfect Union, with some interesting proposed changes to the Constitution. I think it's a really interesting... I keep saying interesting. That's because of the liquor. I think it's a cool take, and it's thought-provoking. It's thought-provoking. Is our Constitution sufficient anymore? Is a question we need to ask. Jefferson, I believe, thought we would have... Was it Jefferson? Franklin, maybe? These guys thought we would rewrite the Constitution every 30 to 50 years. We've never rewritten it. We don't amend it as often as they thought we would. So what needs to be changed? Go check it out. Uncivil Laws crossed 20,000 subscribers. Thank you to everyone. He says, hey, congrats, buddy. May next year see you to 50,000 and beyond. You deserve it. You're a great dude. Great dude. Uncle Jemima says, you would have hit 10K on your media channel if you'd finished your Tasha's Cauldron series in a timely manner. How embarrassing. I thought you didn't support abortions. Also watch Tombstone tonight. I can't. I don't want to watch Tombstone tonight. And I'm really, really tired. But I did my latest Tasha's Cauldron video. It got like very, very low views, but it's about sidekicks, and I've got more to come. I've just been really busy doing other stuff. Absolute Degen says, Apollo Legends suicide note was signed in Ricky's world famous hot sauce. Draw your own conclusions. Damn it. Mario Carter 13 says, just to fuck with them, Trump should pardon some of his enemies. The demands for felony charges will start pouring in. He pardoned Rod Blagojevich, Obama ally Rod Blagojevich, and noted Democrat. I mean, Rod Blagojevich is not a Republican. Crusader Saracen says, to call Legal Eagle a chode would be an insult to chodes. Also, I'm pulling for you to crack 100K before the end of the year. So close. I don't think it's going to happen. It would take a big push later today. I don't think that's going to happen, but you know. Doug cracked the sub algorithm. I've been doing fine with views, and I've been gaining a lot of subs, but not like Doug, man. Whew. 80,000 subs in a week. I am at 98,664 right now. So we'll see how that holds up. Abe of the Tall Gallows says short drops and sudden stops for everyone. Crusader Saracen says, was Devin in a coma during the entirety of the Obama administration? Obama was a literal politician out of Chicago. How the hell can he be less corrupt than Trump? He's either retarded or has the memory of a concussed goldfish. He also says the difference between Nick and Devin. The books behind you've read and probably enjoy. The books behind Devin he puts there as wall decoration to facilitate his autofellatio. He also may be a green screen. He also, Crusader also says, I'm glad Trump doesn't care about political norms, because our political norms from our mono party for the last 20 years have been to start new forever wars in the Middle East. On that basis alone, I enjoyed Trump's presidency. Me too. Less wars. Less of them. Sixth Floor Madness says, you should get Count Dankula on a stream with Drexel. I'd love to hear them discuss whether Dank's banging of traps was gay or not. I would love to have Dank on a stream. That guy's hilarious. Crusader Saracen says, is murder or harassment of a political opponent a specifically outlined crime as opposed to just normal murder? No. Mario Carter 13 says, Legal Eagle's insane ramblings sound like the plot of a novel that skipped the bargain bin and went directly into the dumpster. Knight of OPEC says, the left wants everything we've done to be crime so they can round us up. They want speech to be crime. They want pardons to be crime. Have you ever seen a Holocaust telegraphed in slow motion this way in your lifetime? These people want us dead. Fuck me. No, they will. Crusader Saracen says, for a guy who passed the bar, Legal Eagle couldn't pour piss out of a boot if the instructions were written on the heel. Also, I don't kink shame, but there has to be cheaper fetishes than filing lawsuits. That's gotta hurt the wallet bad. Not for Melinda. She files in form of pauperis and the state pays for it. So we all pay for it. Useful Mistakes is Mel's response to motion to dismiss and has the link. I have it. Thank you. We'll cover it tomorrow, I think. Hakai says Legal Eagle is a pathetic excuse for a lawyer and a journalist. If he were anywhere near as unbiased as he pretends, he would be demonetized by YouTube before he could say cuck. Damn. Rido, welcome to Paralegal Status. Thank you for joining the channel. You now have access to preview videos. Check the community tab for those every day. Fac Uniga says, just finished the previous Mountain Dew stream with call-in. I'm disappointed in you, chat. Not one person super chatted a horse voice for a horse face. What you Miz says Nick needs his big nose to sniff out cases. Yes. Javier Miedo says, can you explain what happens if the counting doesn't finish on 1-6 from the challenges in multiple states? Do they go to 1-7 or election voided? They would go to 1-7. But I don't know. People have said that the challenges are per state. There could be up to 100 hours of challenges. I don't know that that's actually true. They might combine all of the challenges into 1 2-hour session. But I don't know. I don't know. Monica's personal fucking fiance says, did you take advantage of slavery and have Drexel shovel the driveway? No, I hire someone to plow my driveway because I live out in the country. The driveway is like 400 feet long. Nobody's shoveling that shit. Lane Kyrie says, sorry, behind on your video. but I went to see the same house in Spicer. Definitely haunted. Can tell it was cool at one time, but run down AF now. What? Somebody send me this house in Spicer. I want to go see it. Twisted Puppet says the Dragon's Treasure tea has better butterbeer flavored tea. Buy it to annoy a certain someone in Nick's Discord. Cyril Foxity says he should control alt control delete and Karen to his task manager. Close that upload window for YouTube. That's in response to Devin. Shadows King 101 says Legal Eagle has Fable 1 morals. Lol. Yes. Yes. Snark Mark says life itself is only a vision, a dream. Nothing exists save empty space and you are but a thought. Does Drex have a channel now? Post a link. Yes, Drex has a channel. It's the MGTown Podcast. If the mods want to go ahead and post the MGTown Podcast link, please do so. Please do so. Bowser Jr.'s descendant says Ben Shapiro is not that much of a supporter. No, he was a never Trumper for a while. I think he grudgingly supports him now. The only person I can say has been a staunch supporter since the 2016 election is Milo Yiannopoulos. Cyril Foxity says, has to call him a Don since he'd get demonetized by calling him Hitler, lol. Stabby McStabswood says, there are still mandatory minimums for 6+ plants in states like Illinois where it's recreational because the government wants it's cut out of the market. Yet mandatory minimums for marijuana plants are an abomination of justice. An abomination. Master Blaster says Bill Clinton pardoned his brother for cocaine trafficking. Well, listen, he was bringing me the coca. If he's bringing me the coca, I'm bringing him the pardon, buddy. Opinion Discarded says the New York prosecutors are literally worse than Hitler. Look, all prosecutors are bad. New York prosecutors are worse. Tech7 Go says Billy Mitchell murdered Apollo legend. Damn. Christopher Bain says, what would the possible jail time be for me, first-time offender, for killing my neighbor's barking dog? I would assume a couple days with some probation as a first-time offender, if any. But don't do it. Don't do it. NXL Production says, unlimited power. Christopher Bain, it really depends on the state. I'd have to look state by state. Local Enterprise Broadcasting. This guy knows he's lying and he's a terrible actor. I assume he's talking about Legal Eagle. Chris Montgomery says Trump should pardon all nonviolent federal crimes from law enforcement and see the Dems respond to that. Lol. This is coming from a corrections officer also. Fighting Slug says if Trump resigned the day before his term ended and Pence gave him a pardon, would Devin's head literally explode? Yes. DJ Hesselhoff says Devin and people like him should not be lawyers. Insert name here says, Hail Nick, quick question. Should people take a constitutional law class before they talk about the Constitution? Do you agree? Thanks. No. Everyone should talk about the Constitution. But you should listen to someone who has taken a constitutional law class. Doesn't mean they're always right. You should just listen to them. But everyone should be able to talk about the Constitution. That's the whole point of it. Our legal system and our system of governance should not be inaccessible to people who don't have a particular education. Eddie Most 1000 says, sad to hear about Apollo. I have friends connected to him in a little city called Medford, Oregon. Prayers for his family. I Love Adblock says, imagine admitting you're a vexatious litigant in a court document. Lol. Dr. Teeth says, whatever happened to the Todd Habercorn case? As far as I know, Todd Habercorn has not filed any case. So there's nothing to really report on it. Gravy Donson says, drunk right now. Love you, Nick. CJ says, seems like she should go after Ozzy next for appropriating her personal theme song, Bark at the Joshua Moon. Mario Carter 13 says, Melinda knows more about the law than Legal Eagle. That may be true. Uncivil Law says, cross 20,000 subs. We read that one earlier. Congrats again, buddy. Angry Baneling says, I see pain in your eyes today, Nick. Oof. Dude, these filings are rough. Solva says, are you going to make a wrestling belt at 100K? No, probably not. Sin Sai says, first super chat. Hey, thank you. Have Happy New Year. Love the show. You too. Happy New Year and love having you here. I am going to try to do a show tomorrow. I just have to check with Lady Rackets and see if we're doing anything for New Year's Eve. Tomorrow, whatever. All right, guys. That's what I got. Let's play this outro. And then let's get out of here. I'll see you guys at least in short form video. Maybe on a live stream. Have a good night. Peace. Peace.
Oh, he drinks a fair bit, but you realize that it just helps get his noggin jogging along. With his glass by his side and his kids asleep tight, we'll hear some lost-plaining tonight. With his microphone muted, we'll laugh at this boomer until he explains it's all part of the plan. Watch his face become redder as he becomes meta, raging at idiots from Twitterland. From the white shores of Maine to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, his lady is fair, and she handles herself with the grace of one who has borne many children. As the wife of a lawman, she makes sure that he has the time and the place to provide for them there. So pour out an Ardbeg, a Balmore, a Lafroig. The spirits flow as the ones who get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea post on Twitter as we hear lost-plaining tonight. From the white shores of Nairn to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we are now. Oh, the guests are all planet folks from Doug T to Drexel. They bring their perspective and spice to the mix. But the reason we're here and the one that we cheer is the one who is showcasing us his career. Get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea post on Twitter as we hear lost-plaining tonight. From the white shores of Nairn to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed